Welcome to Mindshock. This is your host, Bruce McGuire. Sorry for the delay, folks. YouTube really doesn't want this episode to air, which is actually quite strange because I basically quadruple checked all the lag and everything looked perfect. And then as soon as I was ready to go, everything goes down. But yes, I am a brute force spam kind of guy when I will just not stop trying. I will not be denied because the power of truth, the power of logic and reason will vanquish all lies, possibly in 2024, like no other year before. Yes, kill the bank. Okay, so what happened to the previous show on Hollywood Illuminati occult ritual, humiliation rituals? Obviously, YouTube did not like that episode. Now, here's kind of what's weird. So, obviously, I'm appealing everything. It takes time. So, it's members only for now, but members still can't see it. Now, part of their process in the appeal is that it will be visible, I think, within 2 days for members only. And then it might be up to another 20 days before everybody else can see it. That's the only way I've been able to figure getting it back without actually having it deleted. So, yeah. There's a lot of good Mindshock listeners in here that gift membership, so that's the best I can do so far, as sometimes it comes back a lot sooner than 20 days, and then I will make it public for everyone. Obviously, I don't want to really paywall anything. Memberships should be for those people who want to support the podcast. I always feel bad about paywalling anything because it's weird, but that's the only workaround I've been able to find where it just doesn't delete the entire stream. So apologies for that. But this is going to be a mind-shocking one. Nary a mind will be left unshocked. We're going to be going through decades. We're going to be going all the way back to Tupac Shakur. I believe now in 2024, with all of the information coming out about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, he likes to be called Daddy, that's a little weird, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, the diddler himself. Apparently, there might be enough evidence now to link P. Diddy back to Tupac Shakur's murder. And we'll be going over all of that and more, including the overlap into the satanic Hollywood Illuminati landscape that people have been blowing the whistle about for years, and coincidence theorists, authority-worshipping cultists, bootlickers have pretended that this was all made-up nonsense. But 2024 is shaping up to be quite the year of revelations. Is this the year where everything finally crumbles when it comes to the so-called Hollywood elites, the entertainment industry, the rap industry, and all of the rumors of Illuminati, Satanism, sacrifice, rituals? It's all coming to light, and this stuff has been known about for decades. It's kind of like, I guess, open secret would be the phrase for it. Open secrets. And it seems more and more people are talking now. So we'll be doing a deep dive, a deep, comprehensive logical analysis in typical Mindshock fashion into P. Diddy, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, a.k.a. The Diddler. As always, if you want to help support the Mindshock podcast, help logic and reason return to a world that is quickly going extinct, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. You can also become a YouTube member right here on YouTube. Help support the channel that way. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Patreon. Patrons do your priority for case, topic, logical analysis, co-podcast, or requests. You can also be a guest in the podcast depending on your tier. Questions, comments, theories, thoughts, suggestions, rebuttals, debunkings of any kind, leave them in the comments section. So, the first order of business is Mr. 1-to-1, who's getting kind of pedantic here. Nobody said the P. Diddy conspiracy only involved one man. Where did it say that? Are you committing a straw man logical fallacy here? Because, Ryan Peach, I am live, my friend. All the logical legends in the chat here. So, yeah. A conspiracy, you can refer to a conspiracy like you say Michael Jordan won last night. Well, he didn't win alone. He's playing a team sport. But, you know, obviously a one-man conspiracy is not a conspiracy if there's only one man involved. Nobody's alleging that P. Diddy is orchestrating all of this all by his lonesome. So, here we go. We are off. We're going to start off with one of the most daunting, one of the creepiest, most haunting, I think haunting might be the best word. I'm going to shock you all, because I'm not going to tell you what this is, and in the chat, I want people to identify this song and artist, and we will dissect as we are off to the races in what will be one of the most mind-shocking podcasts ever, no doubt. We should probably expect some YouTube drops tonight on this subject matter, but we'll do our best to power through. Ryan Peach said, I'm very excited, fell in love with Mindshock during Maura Murray and couldn't leave. We actually have another Maura Murray live Q&A coming up in the next week or so. A lot of new information, believe it or not. Just bear with me through the pauses. That is YouTube being YouTube.
Even Puffy smoked the motherfucker up in the club. Even Puffy smoked the motherfucker up in the club. Even Puffy smoked the motherfucker up in the club. And now the devil follows me everywhere that I go. In fact, I'm sure he's standing among one of you at my shows.
Anybody identify this track yet? Anybody? Anybody?
In every street cipher listening to Little Thug's flow. He could be standing right next to you and you wouldn't know.
How haunting are these lyrics? We'll go over them in a minute. Yannick DeSager in the house here with the immediate identification of the one and only lyrical master known as Immortal Technique. You are correct, my friend. You are correct, my friend. Dance with the Devil, one of the most haunting songs ever. And is it very revealing about not only the music industry, but the Illuminati?
The devil grows inside the hearts of the selfish and wicked.
The devil grows in the hearts of the selfish and wicked.
White, brown, yellow, and black color is not restricted.
White, brown, yellow, and black color is not restricted. I mean, this guy truly is a lyrical master.
You have a self-destructive destiny when you're inflicted.
You have a self-destructive destiny when you are inflicted. This is crazy.
And you'll be one of God's children that fell from the top.
One of God's children that fell from the top.
There's no diversity because we're burning in the melting pots.
There's no diversity because we're melting in the melting pot.
So when the devil wants to dance with you, you better say never.
When the devil wants to dance with you, you better say never.
Because a dance with the devil might last you forever.
Because a dance with the devil might last you forever. Now, there's a lot of parallels here. I'm going to replay a little bit. I don't want to go through the whole song because it's really deep and disturbing, and I actually don't even want to spoil it. If you haven't listened to it, stop everything, not in this stream, when we're done with the stream or tomorrow or whatever, listen to it with no distractions. And just sit there and listen to it. It will pierce your soul with its haunting nature. And even the melody of the track, the melody in the background is incredibly haunting. I mean, this, if I had to pick a singular song that was the most disturbing song I've ever heard, it would probably be this one. And not just because of the lyrical genius that is Immortal Technique, but because of the subject matter. I mean, if I even had to, again, I don't want to get into greatest rappers of all time. Rap's not even really my genre, but I would probably have to put Immortal Technique as number one just because of everything. Creativity, diversity in lyrics. I mean, this guy's stringing together 3, 4, 5, 6 syllable words with just an insane flow. But it all comes back to subject matter. I mean, he's done rap songs about, for the people that criticize rap music, I don't think they've heard Immortal Technique. I mean, he's very political and conspiratorial, and one of his talents is coming up with lyrics that pierce your soul and will haunt you for life. Yeah, he's no one-hit wonder, my friend. He's probably the opposite of a one-hit wonder. You're gonna have trouble finding a bad Immortal Technique song. Like, no offense to Eminem, but people who think Eminem is good, I don't think they've ever heard Immortal Technique. I mean, Eminem's like a first grader compared to Immortal Technique. Immortal Technique's like, going for a doctorate, and that's the comparison level of intelligence. Let's listen to it one more time.
You have a self-destructive destiny. You at my shows, up in the club. Even Puffy smoked the motherfucker up in the club. Even Puffy smoked the motherfucker up in the club. Even Puffy smoked the motherfucker up in the club.
So again, there's been a few different rumors about Puffy not only murdering people himself, but being involved in quite a number of shootings, which we'll be going over in a moment as well.
And now the devil follows me everywhere that I go.
The devil follows me everywhere that I go.
In fact, I'm sure he's standing among one of you at my show.
In fact, I'm sure he's standing among one of you at one of my shows. How haunting are these lyrics?
In every street cipher, listening to Little Thug's flow. He could be standing right next to you and you wouldn't know.
He could be standing right next to you and you wouldn't know. The reason I'm playing this right now isn't just because, he mentioned Puffy smoking somebody up in a club, but it's because the lyrics mirror people that are after fame and fortune and the way the devil operates. And these are just haunting lyrics here. Can you imagine being an up-and-comer in Hollywood? Not just either an actor, a musician, a rapper, whatever. I mean, these are haunting lyrics.
The devil grows inside the hearts of the selfish and wicked. White, brown, yellow, and black color is not restricted.
I mean, this is just a really, really crazy song. I mean, again, if you haven't heard it, set some time aside when you're not being distracted by anything and just sit there and listen to it. The other reason I would probably rank Immortal Technique as the greatest rapper of all time is his ability to tell a story. Because this isn't the only song. I mean, he hasn't done it with that many songs. There's a couple songs that'll just leave you haunted for life. But especially this one. I mean, if watching a movie could be condensed into a single song, I mean, this would be one of my top picks.
You have a self-destructive destiny when you're inflicted.
You have a self-destructive destiny when you're inflicted. A dance with the devil might last you forever. So, you know what's also kind of crazy? If you look up the music video on YouTube for Dance with the Devil, the first comment that comes up, it's got 59 million views, but the first comment that comes up is actually, oh wait, it's not the first. It's the second. The devil doesn't come dressed in a red cape and pointy horns. He comes as everything you've ever wished for. Now that's really haunting as well. I mean, that's really haunting because, I mean, that perfectly mirrors the entertainment industry. Everybody wants fame and fortune. What are they willing to do for it? This is the seductive power of riches or money, power, those in power giving it to you. This quote is attributed to Tucker Max. And that's also one of the most haunting quotes, just because, again, a lot of people kind of associate the devil with this personification of the devil as some kind of an entity instead of a dark energy that can possibly manipulate in very, very dark ways. And is that what is going on in the entertainment industry? If you've checked out the previous episode we did, if you were live for it, it's currently offline. Just obviously, it's kind of hard to keep this kind of stuff online on YouTube or a mainstream platform. Working on getting it back, but the Hollywood Illuminati rituals for fame and fortune. And not only that, one of the things that we really went into on that podcast was the people that already have all the fame and fortune. They've already achieved everything, and they still have to humiliate themselves. They're still pawns, because maybe, just maybe, Immortal Technique was correct, and a dance with the devil might last you forever. Haunting, haunting stuff. So, the next thing we're going to go over here, actually, before we get into all the news, actually, we might as well get into the news now. I'm going to go over this New York Post article. This was released March 30th, 2024. Feds set to widen Diddy sex probe over claims rapper boasted about shooting people, bribing jurors, and using J-Lo as a gun mule by Dana Kennedy. So that's another thing that I do want to focus on tonight, because it seems like a lot that's been coming out, everything from Weinstein to Epstein to P. Diddy. I mean, is the entire industry so corrupted to the core that maybe there's only single digits of high-level people who are not involved in all of this. Some people claim it's 100%. I don't like false dichotomies. I don't like appeal to extremes, because they're both logical fallacies. I also just, if you just ask me for my opinion, which I don't usually give because I want to stick to the logic and reason, it just seems to me that I don't think it would be everyone. If it truly was 100% of everyone, I don't think it would be able to function. Just like anything. I don't know if you can have a truly 100% corruption rate. And I think that's why people go missing. People get killed. People run away. Because it's not 100%. But it might be a high percentage. Again, I'm not going to hallucinate to no percentages. Yes, Carla Lindsay with a great quote in here. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world, but lose his own soul? Yeah, Kill the Bank mentioned Rich Man's World. Another Immortal Tech. I mean, there's a ton of them. We should probably do a podcast where we just go through Immortal Technique songs. We might have to do that on Rumble, though. Okay, so let's go through this article here. So even J-Lo is overlapping here. Almost 25 years ago, Just after 2:30 a.m. on a cold winter night, 3 NYPD detectives were called to the Midtown North Precinct. Rap impresario Sean Combs, then known as Puffy, his girlfriend Jennifer Lopez, his bodyguard Anthony Wolf Jones, and rapper Jamal Shine Barrow had been arrested following a shooting inside a Times Square club that wounded 3 bystanders. The cops found Lopez, then 30, cuffed in the cage. Combs was also in the station house on West 54th Street. His plans for a spectacular celebration of the new millennium a few days later temporarily on hold. Now the events of that night and the sensational trial which followed it in early 2001 are back in the spotlight. 2 law enforcement sources tell The Post that the infamous shooting and trial could possibly be reinvestigated as a sweeping federal probe into Combs, now 54, and called Diddy, whose past includes more than one mysterious shooting. On Monday, Homeland Security agents swarmed Combs' home in Los Angeles and Miami in raids, which law enforcement sources told The Post were prompted by sex trafficking allegations. And so these aren't just regular probes here. I mean, we're talking full-scale, armored vehicle type probes. I'm going to put an image on the screen here so people can see the extent of the kind of firepower they were bringing in here for these raids. I mean, look at the kind of firepower they brought in to raid the Diddler's compounds. I mean, this is weird. What kind of information were they working with for these raids? They got eyes on him in Miami, and the feds are talking to witness after witness. New York criminal defense attorney Michael Dischiaro, who is familiar with the case, told The Post. They're corroborating everything they can, but everything past and present is on the table with Mr. Diddy right now. He calls him Mr. Diddy? That's kind of weird. The federal agents stormed in Diddy's home 1 month after Rodney Little Rod Jones filed an explosive lawsuit claiming the music mogul repeatedly sexually assaulted him from September 2022 to November 2023, while Jones was a producer and videographer for the billionaire. So, I mean, that's also kind of interesting because you have over a year of ongoing abuse. What prompted him to come forward? I don't know if that's been made public yet. Jones compared Combs to Jeffrey Epstein and accused the mogul of groping his genitals, grooming him into having sex, and forcing him to procure sex workers, strippers, and drugs. His suit came less than 3 months after Diddy settled an explosive lawsuit alleging sexual violence filed by his former girlfriend. R&B singer Cassie alleged that Diddy ran an Epstein-like operation involving assault, human trafficking, and blackmail with hidden cameras that captured high-profile names in entertainment, politics, and sports, in homosexual acts, and other compromising positions. Jones alleged in his suit that Diddy was violent, threatened to eat his face, brandished guns, and most pointedly was often bragging about bribing witnesses and jurors in the criminal case concerning the 99 NYC nightclub shooting with Shine. The shooting stemmed from an argument between Diddy and a Brooklyn thug named Matthew Allen, who was nicknamed Scar. Yeah, I don't think Matthew Allen is tough enough for the street. I mean, maybe Scar will do it, but Matthew Allen, I don't know. But Diddy, his bodyguard Anthony Jones, and Shine Barrow endured a 7-week trial in February and March 2001, which ended with Diddy and Jones walking free, and Barrow, then 21, being convicted on assault and gun possession, sentenced to 10 years in prison. Mystery still surrounds the Club New York shooting, especially for former Detective Parker, who left the so-called hip-hop cop squad at the NYPD and is now a private investigator. Diddy has been dogged for years by rumors that he made Shine, now known as Moses Michael Levi Barrow, and who is an opposition leader of the House of Representatives in Belize, take the fall for the incident. See, that's kind of a weird thing. See, does anybody else find it kind of weird, kind of strange, that some guy taking the fall for a gangster rapper turns into an opposition leader of the House of Representatives in Belize or another country? That's kind of weird. The story was that Puff was flossing, which is what they call someone on the streets who's throwing money around and acting like a big shot, Parker said. Scar felt disrespected because he felt he was as important as Puff, and words were exchanged and then bullets started flying. I mean, who thinks Puffy is a tough name, though? I mean, Scar, maybe. Puff Daddy? I mean, that sounds some kind of Puff the Magic Dragon reference. Kind of weird. Shots were fired, and Lopez and Diddy fled the club after the shooting in a Lincoln Navigator. Diddy's driver, Wardell Fenderson, later said that he blew past several red lights as they careened down 43rd Street and onto 8th Avenue, weaving past 2 police cars. Shine busted off in the air, Fenderson quoted Lopez as saying before cops pulled them over. Former NYPD detective Derek Parker told the Post how in the precinct her mother was yelling at J-Lo in Spanish, and she was really mad at Jennifer. I heard her say, "I told you not to get involved with him." Lopez was released from custody without being charged after 14 hours in jail. Her spokeswoman declined to comment to the Post, but sources in her camp made it clear that she was never charged in '99. She did go on to have quite the career, though. Natanya Rubin, who was one of the 3 victims in the club shooting, has long insisted that Combs shot her in the face. Quote, "I literally watched them pull out the guns. I had a clear point of view. I mean, for God's sakes, I got shot in my nose," Rubin said during an appearance on News Nation's Elizabeth Vargas Reports Thursday. "I watched everything occur and have described it vehemently to all parties involved. I have 9 bullet fragments remaining in my face." Jones, in his lawsuit, claims that Diddy openly bragged about committing the shooting and bribing witnesses and jurors to secure his acquittal. Mr. Combs shared that he was responsible for the shooting in the nightclub in New York, Jones alleged. He also alleges that Diddy bragged about using Lopez to smuggle the gun into the club. He shared that artist and Mr. Combs' girlfriend at the time, Jennifer Lopez, a.k.a. J-Lo, carried the gun into the club for him and passed him the gun after he got into an altercation with another individual, Jones alleges. Diddy, through attorneys, has denied Jones' allegations. His attorney called the federal raids a witch hunt and slammed the military-level force used. Diddy, who was backed this week by Glenn Beck, who was working security at the club that night and is now a martial arts expert who works with Deadly Art of Survival magazine. Beck testified at the 2001 trial, but told the Post that it appeared the prosecution was hell-bent on nailing Diddy and therefore did not ask him about Barrow, a.k.a. Shine. He called Jones' claims bull expletive and said, "We knew Scar, we knew Shine, he was a wild kid from Brooklyn." Well, there was probably a lot of wild kids from Brooklyn in the club that night. Being a wild kid from Brooklyn doesn't mean that they were, that they executed the shooting. There's probably a lot of wild kids, not just from Brooklyn, but from other places in that club that night. Beck said that just as the fight was brewing between Diddy and Scar, Shine ran out of the club and returned a few minutes later without being searched by security. That's when the shooting began, he said. Then right after that, we heard shots ring out. Shine ran out the side door of the club that was attached to a hotel. He came flying out the doors and was immediately arrested by two cops who were outside and heard the shots inside. Barrow admitted at trial that he pulled out a gun and fired during the fracas, and so far has not accused Diddy of making him take the fall for him. I mean, why would he if he got handsomely rewarded? The Post was unable to reach Barrow in his native Belize. How convenient. Beck also disputed that Lopez could have been used as a gun mule and said, "I remember how well she was dressed that night, and she's very slim. She's not going to be hiding a gun in that outfit." Well, there's two things to say to that. I think a lot of people would say that one part of her body probably had enough space to smuggle one or more guns, but I believe the allegation was that she put it in her purse. I mean, what kind of goofery is this where people don't think that a gun can fit in a purse, especially a small gun? By the 1999 shooting is not the only one likely to be re-examined by federal investigators. Jones also alleged that Diddy lied about his and his son Justin Combs' role in a 2022 shooting at which the Chalice recording studio in LA, in which a friend of Justin known only as G was hit twice. So they still don't know this guy's real name? His name is G? G got shot? Okay. I mean, how does G, like, go to parties? Because people are like, "What's up, G?" I mean, how does he know who's talking to who if his name is just G? That sounds like a problem when trying to navigate the party scene. I mean, maybe that's just me. Jones claims that he was present at the Chalice shooting, which he said occurred at a recording camp in the studio where Diddy, Justin, and G got into a heated convo, then moved into a restroom where shots rang out. Photos in Jones' lawsuit show what purportedly was the bloody aftermath of the shooting in the bathroom. Jones said he stepped in to help G, who was bleeding out, and took him outside to an ambulance. Mr. Combs gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with the shooting, Jones alleged. See, this is kind of weird. So, if an individual gives strict instructions to tell the po-po that they weren't involved, would you be more likely or less likely to believe that they might have been involved? I mean, maybe it's just me. It seems kind of weird that people are taking evidence that strict instructions were to be given to the po-po that a specific individual wasn't involved. I mean, that's just kind of weird. Genius is in here saying Shine's dad is the president of Belize. Why would he need Diddy's money? Belize is a huge drug smuggling place. That's actually kind of interesting. So he does have the connection there. Perhaps P. Diddy was involved in far more drug smuggling than was anticipated or than was believed, especially at that time. So if there's some kind of circle here and there was a price to be paid where P. Diddy would facilitate something for the president, something was arranged there, who knows? Wouldn't be the first time upper level politician or criminal sold out their own kid. I mean, there were cases of them doing, actually having their own kids killed. So to think that someone would be beyond the possibility of selling out their own kid for a stint in prison if the price was good enough. I mean, again, what kind of Illuminati individuals are we dealing with here? He also forced Mr. Jones to lie to the police by telling them that G was shot standing outside the studio by a drive-by assailant. The LAPD did not return numerous calls from the Post, but a police spokesman told NBC News that 3 people were arrested 2 months later and accused of a series of robberies throughout LA, including the shooting of G. Police said G had told them he was shot in a struggle with attempted robbers. That doesn't sound like a drive-by. Jones also alleged that Diddy's head of security, Fahim Muhammad, who was once head of security for Michael Jackson, is a powerful fixer with connections in the LAPD who Jones claims had the power to make people and problems disappear. Well, that wouldn't be the first claim of such. Management at Chalice, where Diddy has recorded multiple times, declined comment Friday. Diddy, however, is not without other defenders. LA rapper Glasses Malone, a former Crip who grew up in South Central LA and who has been around Diddy on multiple occasions, told the Post, "I found Jones' lawsuit pretty disingenuous. This guy calls himself a Christian, yet he let himself be forced into getting strippers and cocaine for Puff." Well, he wouldn't be the first Christian who was involved in something like that. Wow, okay, weird statement. Malone, who also uses the same network of LA recording studios like Chalice and others, said the only thing that concerned him in the Jones lawsuit was the shooting involving G. If true, that's the only thing in the lawsuit that shows criminal intent to me, Malone said. And we're all talking about this, but nobody knows who this G guy is or where he is. That's the mystery to me. But Jason Whitlock, so that's the only so P. Diddy only has one or two defenders who use the same network of studios that he does? That's interesting. But Jason Whitlock, author and host of the Fearless podcast, opined to the Post, there's an avalanche of truth coming, as well as a lot of distortions and opportunists coming. Diddy could just get buried by that avalanche. Very, very curious. Very, very curious indeed. So, yeah, I mean, this is all obviously very, very weird. Let's look at... There was also a shooting in Atlanta, of course. A lot of people know about that. I mean, he's been implicated in quite a number of shootings, and obviously he runs in these power circles. So there's a few people coming out of the woodwork now, which is kind of weird. So basically Ruben picked now to speak, so she wants her case reopened. So apparently this is after, so Jones's lawsuit influenced her to speak up. And here's the thing though, like this all might be the absolute tip of the iceberg in terms of what's coming out. Let's look at one of, at least the first of the year, which everybody's familiar. We actually went over this interview on the previous Illuminati Humiliation Ritual podcast, January 3rd, 2024.
Is all catching.
Cat Williams has also mentioned P. Diddy specifically.
Hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Yeah,
because in 30 years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing...
You will tell it?
No, somebody come to tell me.
Okay.
I gather that, I value that, I'll pay for that. Come, tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you. Like, it's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars not get to make complete narratives for themselves.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again?
You can't make this stuff up. Genius in the chat here. There's too much smoke around Puff to be no fun. There's too much smoke around Puff. Wow.
These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people. That's why, you know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. It's a cabal. It's a consortium. They rock with who they rock with, and they don't with who they don't. That's how a legacy is built.
So
all of these shortcut takers, they canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my penis in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do? He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. I get there, there's 3 other black guys on there. Woo. Huh.
So you wonder what they did to get there.
I told him no. What y'all do?
Who thinks there's zero overlap in these industries and these so-called Illuminati circles? Who thinks there's absolutely zero overlap? You got the rap industry, the music industry, the pop music industry. I mean, even Justin Bieber has overlapped with Puffy, which we'll be getting into. We'll be getting into a lot of that. We're going to be getting into Tupac. I mean, all these Hollywood stars. I mean, the overlap here, I think it's going to leave a lot of people mind shocked.
And this is why when I walk in a room, heads go down. The king has walked in and they have to respect it only because I've not taken the shortcuts. I've not been funded. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about.
Aaron's Energy 313, apparently there could have been video evidence presented, which obviously would have been enough for a warrant. Also, if they, for example, in the lawsuit, if other individuals were named and they went and interviewed those other individuals and they provided some kind of evidence, because apparently there seems to be a lot of whistleblowing behind the scenes, including, obviously, the trafficking angle. So, yeah, I mean, they obviously wouldn't have raided him for no reason.
They tell you that themselves. And there are these alliances in comedy, and if you stand against them, then they sometimes have a problem. But we don't let that change the content, because that's all you know me for, is that I'm quite likely to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Well, the other thing is, if they're really out to get him, and if there is some kind of... I went over Freemasonry and the rules of Freemasonry. Obviously, there's a lot of overlap with the Illuminati there as well. So if P. Diddy might have angered somebody, because everybody is equal under Freemasonry. So if they kind of hung him out to dry, like they appear to have done with Weinstein and Epstein when they were carefully protected for a period of time. So if this is all true about Diddy, I'm not alleging it is. I do not claim anything is true or untrue. This is Mindshock, where the only thing we know for sure is that we don't know anything for sure. But if it's all true, he was obviously heavily protected by the powers that be, or whatever you want to call them. If that protection has been lifted, I mean, you know, if they own the courts, it wouldn't be hard to get a manufactured warrant.
Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Kid, I need to know.
Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
I mean, this is crazy. So Cat Williams started up a storm here. So does anybody find it coincidental that these rumors and open secrets have been going on for literally decades? But as soon as Cat Williams starts saying that all of this will be brought to light in 2024, mere weeks later, I mean, from the first week of January we go to March, so 2 months and change, all of a sudden, P. Diddy gets raided right after his comments, basically right after. Who believes that's all coincidental? I don't know. I mean, how many coincidence theorists are in the house here? They're always welcome on Mindshock. I mean, we need examples for the Dunning-Kruger crowd, of the Dunning-Kruger crowd, rather. So let's go to this incredible video. We're going to be getting into the mind-shocking stuff right now.
I don't dress at all. You can interrogate me but torture, nigga. I won't come. I don't dress at all.
So this is coming from Trini T channel, and there is a compilation here of just stunning allegations. Stunning allegations.
You can interrogate me but torture, nigga. I won't confess at all.
Oh, because in 30 years I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing,
You will tell it.
no, somebody come to tell me.
Cat Williams is spilling more tea on Diddy, and now it's about his alleged freak-off with Kevin Hart. Yeah, and 50 Cent is backing it all up. These two are out for Diddy's neck, and they're not going to stop until they bring him down.
So here's another thing with 50 Cent. I gotta say this correctly. I gotta get my intonation correct. 50. So we're talking about 50 versus Diddy. 50 versus Diddy. So 50 has quite sordid past as well. I mean, a lot of the things said about Diddy have also been said about 50. And what 50 had to do to get his fame and fortune all intertwined with these rituals of sorts. Compromising oneself.
Cat's vibe has always been to keep it real and not sugarcoat the shady stuff the entertainment world tries to cover up. He's all about laying it bare, exposing what your fave celebs are up to behind the scenes. So Cat Williams just threw the entertainment industry into chaos with some mind-blowing claims, suggesting that Diddy and Kevin Hart might have been up to some shady business, especially in connection to the dramatic Usher saga. Despite the seemingly eternal friendship between Diddy and Kevin Hart,
We actually went over Kevin Hart quite extensively in the previous podcast on Hollywood Illuminati humiliation rituals. That should be back up shortly in a few days. And YouTube doesn't like to have that up for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, Kevin Hart achieves a certain level. Cat Williams said he was a plant because he comes to Hollywood with all these contracts already in place. And he reaches a certain level, he claims he'll never wear a dress, and then he does, and then after that he breaks through the upper echelon. Same thing with The Rock, same thing with John Cena. We went over all of that in that episode.
Cat is dropping hints that there could be more to their connection than what's on the surface. Hold up though, we all know Diddy and Kevin have been ride or die forever, but according to Cat, their bromance might have some dark corners. He's dishing the deets that they could have been mixed up in some seriously messed up stuff, potentially playing a role in the whole Usher essay drama. Brace yourselves, it's about to get even crazier. Word on the street is that this power duo might have had a hand in Usher's alleged run-in with an STD. This jaw-dropping revelation has everyone raising their eyebrows, wondering what else Diddy's been cooking up over the years. Seriously, the tales about him are on a whole new level of insanity.
You know what else is crazy? Like, the coincidence theorists have long maintained that this was all just crazy conspiracy. I mean, look at how many things involving the Epstein saga, involving Weinstein and, you know, the old open secrets regarding casting couches, etc. Again, once the Hollywood Illuminati Humiliation Ritual podcast is back up, you can see just the weirdness with Weinstein and Jennifer Lawrence and some of these other actresses and what is going on in some of those movies and behind the scenes. The overlap here is what I find absolutely mind-shocking. It's like all of these so-called open secrets in all of these different industries are overlapping now. So even the most devout coincidence theorists and authority-worshipping cultist bootlickers, even some of these most clueless of goofs, I mean, maybe they're going to raise an eyebrow now? Maybe? I don't know.
Let's be clear, when Cat Williams spills the tea on celebs, he goes all in, no holding back. When he announced he was hitting up the Shay Shay podcast for an interview, we knew it was about to be an absolute roller coaster, and believe me, he did not disappoint.
All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be
Cat just unleashed on Kevin Hart and Diddy, dropping the industry plant bomb. He didn't directly call out Kevin for shady dealings, but he threw major hints, making it clear that nothing in the industry comes easy.
In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think, a plant?
Kevin initially brushed it off, claiming he was unbothered and wouldn't dignify it with a response. However, Kevin was clearly salty about it, calling Cat a clown who belonged in the circus.
Hey Kev, you didn't say nothing to Cat Williams when he did a 3-hour interview talking slow yesterday. You didn't put a...
Watch Kevin Hart's mannerisms here. There's some micro expressions and body language that kind of give it away, and we're going to see a lot more of this. You know what else is kind of crazy? For the people who here was around for the early days of YouTube, 2006, 7, 8, 9, those early days when YouTube was the wild, wild west, there were so many of these, I mean, I guess you'd call them amateur documentaries or whatever, on YouTube, all these YouTube videos exposing the so-called homosexuality in the rap industry and these rituals or whatever, like you have to compromise yourself to get ahead in the industry. So for whatever reason, I mean, it was talked about a little bit in relation to Hollywood, but for whatever reason, the rap industry, it was primarily that. Whereas I guess in Hollywood, there's a whole lot more hetero compromising going on, where for whatever reason in the rap industry, it seemed heavily focused on homo compromising.
Clock over here.
Do you entertain the circus or do you watch it, Kurt? Which one do you...
So peep this. Everyone was half expecting Kevin to go off, especially after he sued Tasha K for spilling the tea on his supposed cheating adventure.
Look how short Kevin Hart is. I mean, this guy's a borderline midget. I mean, I don't know. This is kind of weird. Now, I don't want to add to the conspiracy and just top it all off for how difficult it is for short guys to reach the time of the top of fame and fortune. Although, what's going on with Tom Cruise? I mean, he's kind of shorty too. Do people not know? Is this a good time for me to mention? Does anybody know the rumors of how Tom Cruise made it big? Does anybody in here know? I honestly don't even remember where I first saw this rumor. It probably was way before YouTube. This was probably a 1990s GeoCities style forum. Do you guys want to know? I think we're probably going to get shut down if I say it. Because Tom Cruise is way too powerful in Hollywood. Nobody knows here? Nobody knows in the chat? We got a lot of people in the chat here. It'd be easier if somebody said it in the chat and then I read it so they can't blame me for saying it. I think we definitely would get shot. Okay, Gag Disorder in here said it. Cruise and Pitt and the like were rent boys. So that's actually very good phrasing because I'm not sure we would get shut down for saying they were rent boys. Does everybody understand what that means? We could also say male streetwalkers for the elite crowd. Does that make sense? Now, this is all rumored. Now, keep in mind, when these rumors came out in the 90s, like, I didn't believe it. There was no evidence posted. Now, here's the thing. Several decades later, knowing what we now know about how these industries operate, Would it be surprising if it were true? Vin Diesel, too. The Vin Diesel ones, people came with receipts with Vin Diesel, and that was only a couple of years ago. They came with receipts. With Tom Cruise, you know, some of the earlier guys, there weren't those rumors. Like with Richard Gere, like some of these older stars, like even George Clooney, I don't know if those rumors existed for the older guys. But for Tom Cruise specifically, Brad Pitt, I'm not 100% familiar with those. But Tom Cruise, there was an interview he did, I believe in the early 80s, where he gave a very cryptic reference that he had to do things he wasn't proud of. Don't ask me to dig it up. This was a radio interview in the early 80s. I did happen to remember that interview, but I still thought it was false when I read it in the 90s. But again, is it possible for an extremely short guy like Tom Cruise or Kevin Hart to get ahead without the shortcuts, so to speak? I really like the way Cat Williams put that. Should we just call this shortcuts, taking shortcuts? I don't think we can get a stream shut down for saying taking shortcuts.
The nerve, right? But ever since Cat unleashed these jaw droppers, it's been crickets from Kevin's side. Cat's
Lord Zed said they tried to make Steven Seagal a rent boy. It didn't go well for them. Yeah, I don't think anybody's getting Steven Seagal to do anything of the sort. Or if they are trying to, it would be good to see a video of what would happen to them after that.
been calling out Hollywood's weird vibes for ages. When questioned about turning down roles, he spilled that he turned down fat $50 million offers 4 times because he wasn't willing to compromise.
Now, who gonna turn down $50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity.
But hold on, it gets wild. Cat also revealed that he straight up turned down a fat check from none other than Diddy himself.
Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
The conviction in Cat Williams' voice there. The conviction there. I mean, that's conviction. Now, let's compare that with Kevin Hart's responses on some of this stuff coming up here.
I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Tom Rosland in the chat here. Welcome back, buddy. Unwrapping the homoeroticism of Interview with the Vampire, Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt first had a suck. I don't know about that, because they were already established by then. I mean, I don't know. Tom Cruise is also kind of anti-Hollywood in a lot of ways. Like the whole Scientology thing, I do have a podcast coming up on Tom Cruise. The whole Scientology thing, I actually have a new theory. I just thought of a new Bruce McGuire theory here regarding Tom Cruise. So Tom Cruise he might have also not been officially pimped out or whatever. He said something really weird. I'll try to dig up that interview from the early 80s where he kind of just said he did what he had to do and things he weren't proud of. It almost made it sound like he was literally walking the street and not that he was specifically like this. And he made it sound like this was before he ever even met any power players in Hollywood. He made it sound like he had no money, etc. So I don't know. It was weird. It was definitely weird. And even at the time, I don't think anybody really read into it. He was super young. This would have been the early 80s when he said this. So he would have been, what would that have been? Early 20s maybe? Somewhere around there. I don't know. Early to mid 20s. And it's possible he didn't mean specifically within the Hollywood elite circles. Now, something obviously happened along Tom Cruise's rise to fame. Now, did he join? There's 2 theories here. Well, there's the main theory and then my theory. Did Scientology have dirt on him outside of whatever, Illuminati, Satanic Hollywood? Or did Tom Cruise join Scientology so he would be protected by Scientology from this Hollywood Illuminati Satanic occult faction? That's kind of my theory, because he seemed to be untouchable since. And he doesn't seem to be doing Illuminati humiliation rituals unless you count jumping on Oprah's couch as one. But I don't know, that seems kind of tame compared to the stuff they're making, all the dress wearing and all that stuff.
He even claims he's got the receipts to back it up. This bombshell was next level, considering the big bucks involved and the fact that he went head-to-head with Diddy, this big shot in the game. Diddy's got some explaining to do because Cat Williams just went all out, calling him out for acting all high and mighty, like he owns the whole planet with just one look. But Cat isn't the only one throwing shade at Diddy. Even 50 Cent, who's basically Diddy's biggest rival, spilled some tea a while back. Apparently, Diddy offered to take 50 Cent shopping, and 50 found that move kind of weird.
So he was like, yo, why don't we like go shopping or some shit? I mean, like, I'll pay for it. And I was like, nigga, just say, I got the I was like, this nigga just told me he'd take me shopping. And this is shit that goes on. But there's just a little fruit, probably the fruit pile. Now, nigga asked me, could he take me shopping? And I'm looking like, what? This nigga just...
Some people think the whole 50 versus Diddy feud is all manufactured, and they're both in the club. I mean, there's a lot of compromising photos out there of all of these guys, all these rappers. But we're going to be getting into some really sick and depraved, mind-shocking stuff in a few moments, so yeah, I hope everybody's sitting down for this, because this is going to be truly mind-shocking.
I want to take you shopping. I want to take you shopping. Why? Because when you walk around looking so good, I want to feel like, goddamn it, that with me. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. But when the nigga tell me he want to take me shopping, what's the matter with this nigga?
So, when Diddy got grilled in an interview about the whole 50 Cent shopping escapade, he straight up denied ever making such an offer. Classic Diddy move, right? He tried to play it cool, claiming he just wanted to help 50 Cent upgrade his wardrobe. One thing's for sure, he was definitely caught off guard with that question.
He said you did the same thing to him. You asked him to take him shopping.
Yeah, I thought he needed some clothes.
Wow. Wow. He didn't really deny it, though. Now, why would he think... Now, they didn't give an exact year here, but one would assume, because a lot of up-and-comers, obviously, you know, they're at least gonna either stolen clothes or not. They're gonna come well-dressed to pose a certain role. Fake it till you make it. I mean, that's pretty standard. So unless 50 was truly there in, like, ripped-up jeans and a ripped-up t-shirt, I mean, that just seems kind of weird.
What? I'm a nice guy.
Who thinks there that Puffy is just acting there trying to play it off as if it's nothing when there's clearly something there? There's clearly subtext there. And he's trying to pretend there's not. Like, let's pay attention to all of the delivery, the micro expressions, the intonations. We got Cat Williams, Kevin Hart, Puff Daddy here, P. Diddy, and then 50. 50's weird, too. I mean, ever since he came onto the scene, I don't know, I didn't do that much research into 50 Cent, but there was something always off about him. I mean, there's something off about a lot of these guys, but I don't think there's anything off about Immortal Technique. I mean, you listen to Immortal Technique, I think he was on Joe Rogan's show as well. I mean, maybe he's completely compromised as well, but there's nothing screams off about him, to me anyway. Or some of these, underground indie guys that aren't in these top elite circles, they seem kind of legit. I don't know.
Hey yo, I don't have no beef with I don't know why. With Fifth, he loves
with 50.
me. He loves me.
Yo, can you see it?
It's been a wild ride with 50D and Diddy. These dudes are like lifelong frenemies. 50's been throwing shade at Diddy for ages, trying to snatch that throne. Whether he's tossing around rumors about Diddy's preferences or roasting him for his epic parties, 50's been on a mission. But the real game changer came when Cassie stepped into the scene. Cassie rocked Diddy's world by dropping a bomb of a lawsuit against him in late 2023. The details were straight up spine-chilling. From years of physical abuse to Diddy allegedly forcing her into bed with male escorts, Cassie spilled all the tea, and it was intense. Even though they settled outside of court with a hefty $30 million, it set off an explosion. According to Cassie's lawsuit, Diddy supposedly made her engage in intimate encounters with male escorts, and he'd film the whole thing while pleasuring himself in the corner. It's a twisted plot, and the gravity of these accusations paints a disturbing picture of Diddy's actions. It makes you wonder if Diddy was holding on to those pics to use as blackmail against Cassie.
You know, the other weird thing is, though, like this whole cuck ritual thing. Is that all Illuminati humiliation ritual as well? And then they brainwash these guys into thinking they like it. Guys, gals, whatever. Everybody involved in all of this. It's really weird. Thanks for the super chat, Tom Rossland.
She stayed in that situation for nearly a decade, probably why. And the shocker, when Diddy handed her a 10-year music deal, it's like he was setting the stage to trap her in that cycle of abuse.
So is there anybody still denying that this kind of stuff goes on? Like, are there any coincidence theorists left that think that there are no backroom deals for fame and fortune? Now, I know a lot of coincidence theorists, they draw the line that there's no satanic Illuminati rituals. There's just people getting paid off and doing small favors. But clearly there's a lot more than meets the eye here.
Believe it or not, Cassie and 50 ain't the only ones throwing shade at Diddy. He's got a history with this stuff. After Cassie's lawsuit, another woman stepped forward, accusing Diddy of drugging and assaulting her back in 1991. Court documents spilled the tea that they had mutual friends and even worked together in a few music videos. It was all professional until Diddy took things way left. But Kim Porter's story is a dark reminder of the consequences of getting too close to Diddy's orbit. The dude's got a trail, and it's not a pretty one. The story around Kim Porter's death takes a dark turn. While the official autopsy reported pneumonia.
So for people that don't know, I don't know, I guess they're just assuming everybody knows who she is. But this is, I believe it was his, how many times has this guy been married? This is his first wife. They were married, and or actually, she's listed as his partner. Were they officially married? So she died November 15th, 2018. So actually, I don't know if they were married. She had an on and off again relationship with rapper and record executive Sean Combs from 94 to 2007. They have a son, Christian Combs, that's an interesting name, and twin daughters Jessie and Delilah Combs together. In 2023, Combs included a tribute song to Porter on his album, The Love Album, Off the Grid. Wow, so he made an album in 2023 titled Off the Grid? What? And then he disappears after getting raided? That's kind of weird. Okay. Porter died November 15th, 2018 in Toluca Lake, California. After experiencing flu-like symptoms for days, her cause of death was listed as deferred on her death certificate, and an autopsy was completed on November 16th. On January 25th, 2019, the LA County Coroner's Office confirmed that her death was the result of lobar pneumonia. Her funeral in Columbus, Georgia was attended by hundreds of mourners, including Combs. So, I mean, this guy has a huge body count of people in his orbit. That doesn't mean he's responsible for their death. Again, I don't claim anything is true or untrue. But this guy's got like a body count approaching John Wick in just people in his orbit. It's kind of weird. It's definitely kind of weird. Aaron's Energy 313 posted, Kim was just about to publish a tell-all book. Well, that's kind of convenient, isn't it? That's definitely convenient.
As the cause many people think that's all BS. Now, why would Diddy take out the mother of his kids? According to Gina Deal, Diddy's ex-bodyguard, Kim's story mirrors Cassie's.
I didn't know Cassie, but I knew somebody who was going through the same thing she was going through, and that was Kim Porter.
During Kim's time, sources revealed intense abuse, climaxing when she was found with a broken nose after an argument with Diddy. Allegedly, Diddy, suspicious of Kim talking to another man, invited her to a yacht in Saint-Tropez. An argument ensued, escalating to Diddy allegedly breaking her nose.
Heard every bit of that. Yo, I heard that he beat her so bad he sent her to Hawaii.
Genius in the chat says, if you count all the rappers that left Diddy and became broke, switched religion, got on drugs, became homeless. Yeah, I mean, he seems to have a John Wick-like body count. It's very, very creepy. And, I mean, some people even think Tupac Shakur is included in that body count, which we will be getting to in this stream as well. I mean, we're getting to everything here. This is going to be absolutely comprehensive. And I am actually going to finally put together, I found a very, very succinct theory that actually checks all the boxes in the Tupac Shakur shooting, and everything goes back to Diddy the Diddler here. We are going to get to it. We are going to get to it.
So she can stay away from people. That's crazy, man. But that's Kim's story. That's Kim's book. That's Kim's book. Did you hear about the fact that he broke Kim's nose on a yacht? Wow, I ain't hear about that.
Is this that bodyguard just looked like he had to, his life just flashed before his eyes when deciding whether or not to tell this story or not. But the other thing that's kind of weird is, why is he even comfortable giving these on-camera interviews? Like, why is his bodyguard comfortable with this? That's the first major question for me.
He broke him, let's say allegedly, but it was told by people in her camp that he broke Kim's nose on a yacht. So Cassie's story is Kim's story. Cassie's book is Kim's book.
Sources claim Diddy couldn't have Kim in public with a broken nose, so he flew in a plastic surgeon and had her stay in a hotel until her nose healed. Kim supposedly planned to expose Diddy in a tell-all book, but it never saw daylight.
Genius really on point in the chat here. The Keefe D arrest is what led to Diddy's raid. I'm actually going to get to that and some old interviews. Again, like I said, some of this stuff has been whispered about in an open secret type fashion, but it seems like Cat Williams has initiated this avalanche. He started this massive snowball, which is just picking up all these bits and pieces over the years, and it's all coming together, not just within the rap industry, but it seems like all of the overlap in all of the industries, including, everything about the entertainment industry, Hollywood, Epstein, like everything seems to overlap here. I mean, this is a coincidence theorist's dream. I mean, there seem to be more coincidences, anomalies, and overlaps here to write off than there has ever been in any year prior. I mean, they're going to have a field day with just hallucinating everything and every connection is a coincidence.
Fans speculate that the book could have ended Diddy's career and put him behind bars, which is enough motive for Diddy to silence her permanently.
So in this book, it detailed his relationships with men, footage of those encounters. It had the names of the men he slept with, a disease, allegedly Diddy giving Usher a disease, the argument that took place between Diddy and Usher's mom, Mary J. Blige being pregnant by Diddy. It says that she had an AB. Also in the book was the DV that Kim endured.
In a surprising twist, the story extends beyond just women. Rumors about Diddy's sexuality have circulated for years, and these rumors even got Wendy Williams fired.
As well. There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such. And now it's all come full circle. There were many situations, none of which to talk about, but there were many situations back in the day in my career, and it's all coming full circle.
Wendy supposedly got her hands on a super sketch photo of Diddy chilling with another dude during his vacation in Cancun. Word on the street is this pic shows someone straight up pulling down Diddy's shorts. Yeah, you heard it right. According to Wendy, Diddy instructed members of the R&B trio Total to confront her physically. While While Wendy's then boyfriend intervened, preventing any altercation, Diddy managed to get her fired. Diddy's bodyguard also has stories of Diddy with other men to share. Gene Deal shared an intriguing incident during an interview involving Diddy and Ja Rule engaging in unusual activities in a hotel room.
That's interesting phrasing. Unusual activities. Wow. That's good phrasing. I gotta use that. Engaging in unusual activities. Wow, that is very, very safe phrasing. I don't think we can get shut down for talking about unusual activities. I mean, all of this stuff is actually really bizarre, but genius, I'm going to go into the entire Tupac situation later on in this stream. And when I say I found a theory that checks all the boxes, I found a theory that seems to account for absolutely everything in the Tupac hit.
I'm here at the door and stuff like that. Like, yeah, so then next thing you know, somebody rang the doorbell. We had the presidential suite where we was at. So I opened the door and the dude said, yo, I'm here for my cousin. I said, who your cousin? He said, Ja Rule. I said, well, he busy right now. He said, he busy doing what? I said, he with Puff. They're in the room, they busy, they don't want to be bothered.
What? What does that mean? How many different ways are there to interpret that? That's definitely kind of weird.
He said, well, I'm going in there. I said, bro, you ain't going in there because he told me they don't want nobody to be bothering them. He was like, yo, I don't care, man. I'm going in there. That book like that. I said, yo, bro, Jesus Christ had to come down here and take the air out of my body before you get in that room right there. Watch. He tried to bum rush me. I grabbed him and threw him against the piano. When I threw him into the piano, Puff and Ja Rule runs out the room. Puff got his towel, Ja grabbing his towel, but they butt the naked.
While Gene initially didn't know what was happening inside the room, he confronted Ja Rule's cousin.
Wait, so if that happens, how do you not know what's happening in the room in that kind of situation? Like, what are the options? If there's no one else in the room, or even if there is, but apparently there was nobody, he didn't say there was anybody else in the room. Now, does this really require the services of Sherlock Holmes to figure out when of what's going on in this hotel room? I mean, does it really require Sherlock Holmes or a 3-digit IQ? I don't know. I don't think it does.
Had arrived unexpectedly. The commotion led to Diddy and Ja Rule coming out of the room, both wearing only towels. 50 Cent and Diddy's ongoing drama just got spicier. Rumor has it that 50 Cent is cooking up a documentary that dives deep into the SA allegations against Diddy. And get this, the cash flow from the doc, it's all going straight to the victims. No fear in 50's game, even with Diddy holding down the fort in the hip-hop kingdom. He's been blasting about the documentary on his Insta, all about doing what's right. Now, how 50 Cent's documentary will hit, we gotta wait and see. Here's the real head scratcher.
Well, that's the other thing, too. I don't know if enough people are talking about that. But if this is all manufactured drama, actually really coincidental that Genius in the chat just posted this. If anyone wants this Diddy distraction now, it's Will Smith and Jay-Z, because finally he can get rid of P. Diddy once and for all as King of New York. So, here's the thing. If this, so 50 Cent has made no secret of the fact that he was planning this expose documentary for months now. So we have Cat Williams and 50 Cent initiating this, and then all of a sudden these raids happen. Now, call me crazy, but I suppose it's not out of the realm of possibility that if 50 is involved in a lot of the same stuff, he turned over evidence. The weird thing is you would think P. Diddy would have a lot of dirt on 50 as well. This is the 50 and Diddy saga. So it is kind of weird from that respect. And Will Smith is actually also implicated in a lot of this stuff, which I mean, here's the weird thing. So I actually watched The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air quite extensively in the 90s, quite extensively. But his flamboyancy in that show, does that take on a new meaning with all of the stuff coming out now?
Why does Diddy keep making moves on his adversaries? First, it was 50 Cent and now Cat. It's like he's just daring someone to spill the beans and expose him. Buckle up, because fans had their own theories about why Diddy was getting cozy with Cat. Hold on tight, because the grapevine was buzzing with the talk that Diddy had his eyes set on Cat for his comedy special, P. Diddy Presents the Bad Boys of Comedy. Picture this, Diddy was all about conquering the comedy scene in Hollywood, and he pulled off this massive special, bringing in a whopping 110 comedians. Sounds like a blockbuster, right? Well, it could have been if it weren't for some serious side-eye action. See, back then, Diddy was side-eyed for some shady stuff with dudes. Now, here's the real kicker. Whispers were swirling that this comedy special was just a smokescreen for Diddy's alleged shady dealings. The suspicion? Diddy was allegedly targeting struggling comedians, maybe more open to his advances. I mean, who wouldn't be thankful for someone kicking doors open for their careers, right? Word on the street was that the special was a cover for Diddy to get into some not-so-great stuff. Cat spilled the tea, hinting that Diddy was allegedly scouting out fresh talent from the comedian pool. It's like he was building his own squad, but not for laughs. Now, if you're wondering why Kevin Hart got caught up in this whirlwind of chaos, Cat's got stories for days. According to him, Kevin not only knew about Diddy's alleged escapades, but was also in the loop about Diddy's sketchy activity.
Now, we're going to get into Justin Bieber here. Like I said, the industry overlap here is just absolutely insane. I mean, the coincidence theorists are going to have a field day. But let's say Puff Daddy isn't involved in any of these Illuminati homo rituals. Would you still allow if you're Justin Bieber's parents, would you still allow him to go hang out with Puffy, this gangsta rapper? I mean, does anybody find it kind of weird? Like, we're about to get stratospheric with the coincidence stack. And, I mean, there's plenty more. I mean, even with Taylor Swift and all these. The overlap here. I mean, I think this is going to fry the brains of even the most devout coincidence theorists. Yeah, those were the rumors that Justin was fed to the wolves. But why? And where are his parents?
Even though he wasn't part of Diddy's comedy special. Now, let's dive into the wild world of Diddy's parties, where 50 Cent warned us things get crazier than...
Lord Zed said, in fairness, they probably didn't think he'd do him. That's not the point, though. Like, why would you want your young teen to go hang out with a gangsta rapper who runs in the circles of people repeatedly getting shot and doing drive-bys? I mean, that's kind of weird.
A roller coaster ride. Attending Diddy's parties is already eyebrow-raising, but hosting them, that's a whole new level of crazy. In an old video from one of these bashes, Diddy was chilling on a bed when Kevin and the camera crew walked in.
There's something really weird about Kevin Hart. Like, does anybody else find something about his mannerisms and just the way he talks and blinks really strange?
Diddy looked caught off guard, and the attention in the room hit an all-time high. For some reason, Diddy kept telling Kevin not to get any closer, and threw in a no-homo joke, making things weirder.
We want to thank you. Come in. Don't sit on the bed at night. No homo. No, just don't get close to the bed. Don't get close to the bed. It's just...
Look at Kevin Hart's face. He looks so uncomfortable there.
It's like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did.
No, I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting the bed. Shout out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna...
Wait, what? Shout out to him and what he did? What?
If we can, let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not... I don't want my shot to even... I don't want it to come close to the bed.
Did something go on between Diddy and Kevin that night for them to act that way? Kat thinks there might have been a bit of hanky-panky between Diddy and Kevin at that time. Allegedly, he's tossing around the idea that Diddy might have made Kevin an offer, and unlike Kat, Kevin didn't turn it down. Remember when Kat accused Kevin of being an industry plant who sold his soul? Rumor has it, Kat's holding on to some seriously spicy evidence, and that's why Kevin's zipping his lips. Word on the block is Kat's got the goods on how Kevin may have been involved in Diddy's shady dealings with Usher back in...
Look how terrified Usher looks there. We're gonna get into Usher. Again, I was never an Usher fan, but nobody deserves this. Like, this is crazy, especially children. I mean, this is insane. I mean, he's like a deer in the headlights right here. I mean, look into Usher's eyes here. I mean, this is very, very disturbing. Genius says here, like Aaliyah, Jay-Z wanted her, Damon Dash wanted her. Her record company made her go to the Bahamas to shoot a beach video when it could have been shot in Miami, and her plane goes down.
In the 90s. Imagine this, Usher, the smooth operator, supposedly crashing at Diddy.
Is it just me, or does Usher always have a sad look in his eyes? I mean, look at his face here, and look at his eyes. It's like he didn't want this. It was almost like it was all decided for him. Like, compare the eyes of Usher and P. Diddy.
Diddy's pad in New York when he was just 13, and rumors floating around that Diddy allegedly passed him an STD. Now, there's some chit-chat in the air, and it might trace back to Usher's chat with Howard Stern. Usher hinted at seeing some wild things during his stint under Diddy's roof.
I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor.
He looks so uncomfortable here. Look at his hand fidgeting. I mean, this is very, very strange.
There you go.
To learn some...
Flavor camp.
Yeah, that's what it was called.
I mean, he's smiling through it, but it looks like a grimaced smile. Like, he almost can't believe that Stern brought this up. And obviously, Howard Stern, quite the scumbag.
And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's
in the 90s. Do you...
It's almost like Stern already knows all the details here, and he enjoys putting people through this. I mean, there's a certain level of scum that you get to when you get to Stern. I mean, he's up there. I mean, he is up there. Let's not forget the entire Dana Plato situation. Also overlapping with Columbine, actually. But yes, Stern is very, very despicable.
Understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13.
I got a chance to see some things.
What were you saying?
I went there to see the lifestyle,
right?
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
Then there's this video floating around with Diddy, Usher, and Kevin Hart all hanging out. Diddy casually mentioned they used to have morning battles over cereal, raising some eyebrows, maybe hinting they shared a bed overnight. Kevin, in that super awkward moment, swiftly changed the topic.
Right here from day one, we used to wake up and. I mean, damn, pause, but like, just I mean, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older.
What? How drunk is he? Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older. Usher here looks extremely uncomfortable. Kevin Hart looks like he's just spazzing out, like he can't believe that this is being brought up. Like, look at Kevin Hart's behavior here. It's just so creepy. Usher looks disassociated and can't believe any of this is happening, and he looks like he wishes he wasn't there. And Puffy looks like he's just so drunk, he's spilling the beans. And Kevin Hart looks like he's borderline panicking.
Older brother, we used to fight over the frosted flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually.
Like, look at the micro expression on Kevin Hart's face. Like, he's laughing, and then he gets all serious. Then he tries. Like, he's going to try to shut this down real quick here.
Wrestle off of the frosted flakes.
Like, look at the seriousness that just goes over Kevin Hart's face.
Because he used to always get up early.
Now he wants to interrupt him so he doesn't keep talking.
Yo, what just said? Nobody's going to acknowledge this for me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the frosted flakes.
He didn't say anything about wrestling, did he? He said fight, which can be interpreted in a lot of different ways. That could be a verbal fight, right? Like, oh, there's not enough Captain Crunch left. I want this. Nobody said anything about wrestling until Kevin Hart just did. Kevin Hart is the first one who brought up anything about wrestling. I mean, this is like a classic, like, police interrogation where they give a general term, and then if the guy's guilty, he's going to bring up the specifics, even though nobody mentioned the specifics. I mean, this is very, very disturbing.
And we're streaming live. That was stupid.
I mean, is that a Freudian slip? That was stupid to bring that up while we're streaming live. Why was it stupid if it's not true? Man, Kevin Hart's a weirdo. But, I mean, it's like Kevin Hart's not smart enough to do what he's trying to do. So he just slips with the Freudian slips and the micro expressions, because all these other guys are a little bit more subdued with him, but Kevin Hart is not good at keeping the lid on anything.
Yo, a couple of years back, Usher got caught up in some lawsuits, accusing him of spreading herpes without giving a heads up. Laura Helm dropped a massive $20 million lawsuit, claiming they got too close and personal. Weirdly, her case vanished into thin air, making folks talk about that hush money. Then, 2 more women stepped into the scene, one staying low-key, but testing positive for herpes. Quantasia Sharpton. The other didn't test positive, but spilled the beans about hooking up with Usher right after turning 19, sparking big health concerns for her and her kid. Usher ended up shelling out a fat $1.1 million settlement to another Jane Doe. Now buckle up, because we're taking this ride to a whole new level. Cat Williams dropped a truth bomb, hinting that Usher's mentor, Diddy, might be the puppet master behind these shady bedroom tales.
I heard fighting, but okay, even if he did say wrestle, I mean, that would still, his behavior, like, that was stupid. Why would it be stupid if it wasn't true?
Kat even tossed out the idea that Kevin Hart might have joined in Diddy's wild escapades. Kat spilled the tea, serving up a crazy theory that Diddy and Kevin might have been mixed up in some strange activities together, including the wild escapades and accusations against Usher. Now Kat's flipping the script, saying Diddy and his powerful crew might have been pulling the strings to launch Kevin into fame. But here's the real kicker, according to Kat. Usher ain't Diddy's only alleged victim. Nope, there are allegedly loads of other artists that he forced into inappropriate activities. And hold on to your hats, because a few years back, Kat dropped some serious shade bombs on Diddy and Jermaine Dupri, suggesting they might have been involved in some unsavory dealings with the Criss Cross boys.
I mean, this is just getting really, really sick and depraved, but who's surprised, though? You know what's really kind of sad? That in 2024, this stuff isn't even that shocking anymore. I mean, does that make anybody else sad? Because back in the 90s, if you said this in the 90s and the early 2000s, like people did, there were whispers of these open secrets, but people kind of brushed it off. And now it's like, it's so dark, and there's so much has already been exposed that it's just kind of sad where this has become more and more plausible, at least in the mainstream.
Right, so Chris Kelly and Chris Smith, the Criss Cross duo, hit it big in the 90s when they were just 12 and 13. Jermaine Dupri, their mentor, played a key role in their success. However, Cat Williams suggested there might be more to their mentorship than just music, claiming Jermaine and Diddy were involved in inappropriate behavior with the boys. Under Jermaine Dupri's guidance, the Criss Cross boys released 3 successful albums. Rumors about incidents involving Jermaine and Diddy started circulating, and Cat linked these traumatic experiences to Chris Kelly's later struggles with drug abuse. In 2013, Chris Kelly was found unconscious at home and later pronounced dead. His family's acknowledgement of his drug abuse history shed light on his painful journey.
And the other thing that we went over in the Illuminati Hollywood Humiliation Ritual podcast, apparently the MK Ultra Monarch programming, it breaks down in the early 30s. So we have the 27 Club, where between the ages of 27 and early 30s, there seemed to be an unusually high amount of artists, of entertainers, that either die by suicide or other means, compared to other industries.
Interestingly, the boys had suspicions about Jermaine right from the start. Even at ages 11 and 12, they felt something was off. Chris Kelly once shared in an interview that they were just hanging out, playing video games at an Atlanta mall. Out of nowhere, this dude shows up asking them to be rap stars.
Does anybody find that kind of weird? This dude shows up out of nowhere asking them to be rap stars? What?
Turns out it was Jermaine Dupri, but they had zero clue who he was. He even suspected he might be a child molester or something. Kat wasn't done yet, spilling more tea and claiming that Jermaine Dupri wasn't only involved in alleged essay, but also turned a blind eye to others in the industry doing the same. So, rumors started swirling about this weird ritual involving Diddy and Jermaine. The buzz is they were into some creepy swap meet, trading their artists like collectibles, and get this, even passing them around within their inner circle. And reports claim Diddy might have pimped out members of Danity Kane. Kat spills the tea, suggesting Diddy wasn't just watching from the sidelines, he was allegedly part of it too. In 2011, Kat dropped a freestyle, and when it came to Diddy and Jermaine, he didn't hold back.
What's happening, Puff? I'll be back to you if JD ain't had enough. Yeah? Jermaine Dupri, king of the pedophiles, if you ask me, baby. Shh.
I mean, that's kind of bold. That's kind of bold, for lack of a better word.
Jermaine Dupri, small as a child.
But it gets worse, because according to sources, Diddy wasn't the only one that Jermaine was allegedly pimping the boys out to. He also allegedly pimped them out to Jada Smith. Kat's convinced these big shot music moguls might have messed with Chris Kelly, pushing him into a dark path with drugs. Sadly, Chris isn't the only one caught up in this twisted tale. Word on the street is Diddy's been in some shady dealings with young artists. But that ain't the end of it. Federal law agencies were on Diddy's case in 2013. Back when Jimmy Henchman got busted, the feds had their eyes on Diddy. They were suspecting he knew a thing or two about Diddy's shady dealings with minors. It got real, with them grilling Jimmy about Diddy's questionable moves with young boys. So, according to this official U.S. District Court filing,
we got a lot of people bringing up the one and only Vanilla Ice in the chat. The legendary Vanilla Ice. I mean, wow. Can anybody doubt the greatness that was Vanilla Ice? Was he the very first mainstream wigger? I don't know. John Cena, we talked about John Cena's, might have been the first big wigger superstar in the WWE, but was Vanilla Ice the first wigger to make it big in rap music? We need to do a dedicated podcast on Vanilla Ice. Has anybody seen his movie from? He's actually got a pretty extensive filmography. He was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the News. I forgot about that. Has anybody seen Cool as Ice? His 1991. His first starring role, Cool as Ice. It was actually a pretty solid movie. I don't know. A lot of people might doubt that. I actually thought it was a pretty solid film. Call me crazy. I thought it was pretty solid. The cinematography was also done by Janis Kaminski, who did Saving Private Ryan. I mean, a whole bunch of, he did a bunch of Spielberg and Scorsese movies. I mean, that was the cinematographer of Cool as Ice, the Vanilla Ice movie. I mean, how this movie didn't sweep the Academy Awards, I do not know personally. I mean, obviously they were fixed. Otherwise, I mean, if the Academy Awards aren't fixed, then Vanilla Ice should have won them all. I don't know how it didn't. But yeah. Okay. Let's continue here.
A prosecutor straight up asked about entertainers' intimate preferences, and you won't believe it. They went all in, asking not just about Sean Combs, but throwing it out there if he's getting cozy with underage boys. It's like they're trying to get to the bottom of some really shady stuff. Orlando Brown also came out saying Diddy allegedly forced him into some sketchy situations, like giving him some mouth action.
These are very interesting terms. Sketchy situations and mouth action. I mean, these are good phrases to not get the stream shut down. I mean, I think it's been working pretty well. We haven't had too much lag here.
Yo, Diddy, you gave me the oosh-gosh goosh-wash. You gave me the oosh-gosh muaf, the shoo-swash. Diddy, He ain't shite. You know what I mean?
Diddy's alleged escapades don't stop at Criss Cross or Usher. Brace yourselves for the jaw-dropping tale that Chris Brown spilled on the Drink Champs podcast. According to Chris, he was just 12 years old when Diddy allegedly tried to make some inappropriate moves on him.
And then the funniest part, like a lot of people don't know, Diddy turned me down. I was 12 years old. Like, man, let's talk about him right now. But it's love now. It's like my family, my brother now.
Well, let's get to the point.
It was a blessing.
You went to see him.
Yeah.
You. Was you dancing?
So basically, it came as a package deal.
You know what's also disturbing is how they're all laughing about it, as if making a joke of the whole thing.
If you danced, he definitely would have signed you.
No, I'm gonna keep it 100. So I was like 12 at this time. This is before I didn't.
Does anybody else find Chris Brown extremely feminine? I mean, there is a tipping point. There's a tipping point for metrosexuality where it really does tip to the homo side.
I linked to Def Jam shit. Okay. But it was me and his one of my production manager's son named TJ. He's my brother to this day. But me and him were like a group. You know what I'm saying? So he
What's the name of y'all group?
Man, we didn't have no name. We just was.
This is why he ain't sorry, y'all.
You gotta get that far.
We're entering a zone of serious eyebrow-raising drama. So check this out. There's this question floating around about whether Chris danced for Diddy. And you gotta wonder, why would a young talent need to bust a move for Diddy at his crib? Well, insiders are whispering that Diddy had some wild plans in mind. Plans that involved Chris hitting up his oddly named puffy-flavored camp. Yeah, it sounds as bizarre as it seems. Word on the street is that Diddy was allegedly seeking some inappropriate stuff at this camp, and Chris, being no fool, straight up declined. He ain't about that compromising situation life, steering clear of Diddy's peculiar camp. But here's the deal. Diddy passing on Chris had zero to do with talent. L.A. Reid and Def Jam were practically begging to sign him, but Chris had his eyes on other paths. Looks like Diddy's rejection was all about Chris dodging some really shady stuff. But not everyone dodged Diddy's alleged antics. Justin Bieber? Yeah, he might be one of the unlucky ones. Rumors are swirling about Diddy allegedly pushing Justin into some really questionable situations. You catch my drift, right? It all started when Scooter Braun discovered Justin and introduced him to Usher, who then introduced him to Diddy. It's like a suspicious setup, especially after that video where Diddy promised Justin the whole universe.
You know what's kind of crazy? What's really kind of crazy, and we're circling back. So P. Diddy promising Justin Bieber the whole universe. I mean, that's kind of weird to promise a young up-and-coming kid. Now, who remembers the quote that we went over at the beginning of the stream from Tucker Max? The devil doesn't come dressed in a red cape and pointy horns. He comes as everything you've ever wished for. And it's just kind of haunting because, again, the Immortal Technique lyrics at the beginning, dance with the devil, even specifically mentioning Puffy shooting somebody in a club in the same song. I mean, that's pretty creepy. There's also, I mean, we're not going to get into Taylor Swift here because this isn't directly P. Diddy related, I don't think. But rumor was she was also passed around like Justin, and it's really creepy because I don't really want to get into. Maybe we'll have to get into this in the podcast. Do you guys want to get into the whole Justin Bieber Taylor Swift situation? Maybe we'll get to it. If you guys want to get into it, there's a really creepy video from a TV show with both of them, and their body language and mannerisms it's almost like they're mirroring each other, and it's just really, really creepy. Everybody in here wants to get into it. Let's finish this up, and then maybe we'll get into it.
As soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you rock this every time. Yeah, this will be on. LA's a little dusty, but you know, fresh out of this.
Man.
Ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Diddy Diddy, the guy known for owing his artists a ton of money and pulling the strings behind their tracks, was making some big promises to the rising star Justin Bieber. He was straight up offering a Ferrari and a mansion for Justin's 18th birthday. But hold up, isn't that a bit too generous coming from a guy not exactly known for being Mr. Reliable in cash dealings with artists?
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy.
Does anybody find this entire video deeply disturbing? Because even in this video here with a young Justin Bieber, it's just kind of weird because everybody kind of already knew the Diddler's reputation by now. Like, even if you weren't 100% sure that it's true, it's kind of weird. Like, who would let their kid with Justin Bieber? Yes, that is Justin Bieber. Barbie in the chat here. Excuse me, Barbie. Do you seriously not know who Justin Bieber is? Yes, something else is here. Excellent comment. That's what you call bad optics. Can optics get any worse than what is on the screen right now? Bad optics, yes. And I mean, Justin Bieber's kind of a wigger too. And now we know why, but yeah, it's just weird.
They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but
Wait, the start of what we doing and we can't really disclose? What? What the heck is P. Diddy talking about here? It's like he's not even trying to hide what he's saying.
It's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher. I had.
He's been given custody of Justin Bieber? That's a weird way to say that.
Legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me.
So he had his legal custody signed over to Puff Daddy for 48 hours. Does anybody find that strange? Like, why would that be a requirement to record an album? I mean, there's plenty of both child stars and adults who record albums without having to be in somebody's custody for 48 hours. Why don't they just go to a regular studio where nothing shady can happen? It just seems kind of weird. Yeah, Cassidy Smoke said there is no way to make that not look weird. Correct. Correct. Biari Soy Toro says, wait till you find out about Bieber and the tour bus. I do not know about Bieber and the tour bus. Does that sound like something I do not want to know about? So Justin Bieber's tour bus is a rolling penthouse suite. It's a $2 million luxury penthouse on wheels. Are you alleging that untoward things go on in that tour bus? I don't think we want to know what goes on in that tour bus, do we? I mean, it seems like all these theories about Justin Bieber were done. Wow, that's kind of disgusting. So does he have a music video called Yummy? People were discussing this on the Justin Bieber subreddit 4 years ago. So here's a music video called Yummy. I don't think I even want to watch this. Huh. Yeah, I don't believe I want to watch this. The description here, there's a lot of symbolism in the video. The scene that is quite telling is a young Justin's picture on the empty plate with the word yummy under his picture. Yeah, I do not want to watch that video. Yeah, is there any more information on what happened on that tour bus, or do we all not want to know? Yeah, Corey Feldman was dropping some truth bombs, Lord Zed. And people in the chat also bringing up Quiet on the Set. Is that the one with Amanda Bynes? And again, look at all these breakdowns of child stars in their early 30s. Again, that's when the MK Ultra Monarch programming supposedly breaks down in the early 30s. And you have all of these celebrities, late 20s, early 30s, who have these mental breakdowns, especially ones who were child stars. Is that all coincidental? You don't see this in other industries. Why do you not see this in other industries? It's kind of weird.
Things take a weirder.
Now, call me crazy, but in that video with Bieber, it wasn't like with Usher. It almost seems like that video was shot before anything shady happened. Like Bieber just got there. Because he still looked relatively normal there, unlike Usher.
Turn when Diddy starts talking about doing undisclosed stuff with Justin that he can't mention publicly. Why all the secrecy, especially with a kid? The fans can't understand how someone would even give him legal guardianship of a kid.
And the other thing also with Bieber, like, why was Bieber so feminine? Like, there's all these... It's just so weird. Some people think it goes back to the whole Illuminati male-female inversion thing, but it is kind of weird.
One said, what kind of parent leaves their child alone with Diddy and gives guardianship to this strange rich man? And another added, I wouldn't even speak to my mama again if she left me with P. Diddy at 13 years old. That's a R. Kelly move. There's even a video where Justin looks visibly uneasy next to Diddy.
What's up, man? You good? I'm good. How are you? Young brother, everything's good? Selling out arenas and everything? Starting out.
Yeah, see this? Look how weird Justin looks here as opposed to the other video. The other video, it looks like it was almost shot as soon as Justin Bieber got there and nothing bad had happened. Like, he looked excited to be there. I mean, I could be wrong again, but just compared to the media with Usher, like, Usher looked completely traumatized and deer in the headlights in the photos there. Here, Bieber looks a lot more apprehensive.
Different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, kids, partners and whatnot. But you never really got my number, so.
Okay.
Your number?
Yeah.
Now there's talk that Diddy...
He looked so uncomfortable there. That was hard to watch.
Might have played a role in getting Justin involved with drugs, echoing Cassie's previous claims. Justin himself opened up about his struggles with addiction, facing the industry's hardships at a young age.
There was a time where I was sipping lean, I was popping pills, I was doing Molly, shrooms, everything, and it was just an escape for me.
I was waking up in the morning and the first thing I was doing is popping pills and smoking a blunt and starting my day.
You know what else? No, do people not talk? I haven't heard this specifically mentioned. Is the reason why drugs and alcohol are so prevalent and drug and alcohol abuse is so prevalent among this particular industry? Like, I don't think it's this big in, let's say, computer programming. Like, is there a large amount of computer programmers having breakdowns late 20s, early 30s who have this out-of-control drug and alcohol problem? I mean, are there oil rig workers who are just having mental breakdowns in their early 30s and just have crazy, I know a lot of them like to drink, but specifically drug problems where they're out of control, they need to go to rehab? Like, why is this the only industry where this seems to happen across the board? So is this why all of these stars have so much alcohol and drug abuse? Because they can't deal with what happened.
People can't help but notice that he gets clean once he distances himself from Diddy. Coincidence? Maybe not. You can clearly see how Justin changed after he cut Diddy out of his life. Now, the fans are scared for Cat's safety, but it won't be easy to take him down. One fan wrote, "A lot of people are saying watch out Cat, but what's different today is we're all aware. Before there was less people aware and they could get away with killing them, but now there's a lot of people aware. We gotta protect Cat." Another added, "I respect Cat for sticking up for what's right and exposing all this evil in Hollywood." So there you have it. Cat Williams and 50 Cent dropping bombs on Diddy's alleged freak-off with Kevin Hart. These two are on a mission, and they're not hitting the brakes until they take Diddy down. Cat's always been the realist, never one to sugarcoat the shady stuff the entertainment world tries to sweep under the rug. Now, we can't help but wonder, what's Diddy's next move? More like, what horrifying truth about Diddy will we learn next?
So yeah, quite mind-shocking. Let's take a look at this clip of P. Diddy that's very weird. For people that are... this was posted on P. Diddy's own channel. It's quite weird.
You think I could book that for like the weekend of...
I think a lot of people have probably seen this already. Yeah, P. Diddy has a John Wick-like body count.
Book that for like the weekend of the 14th when the soundtrack comes out? If so, bump somebody. Alright, thanks. I love
So this was supposedly posted on his own channel.
you, man. Bye. I got my MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get! Yes!
Is that normal behavior? I don't know. Whatever I want, I have to get. That almost seems like he was devil possessed there for that little outburst there. I mean, it's really weird. It's very, very weird. Yes, Pizza T in the chat here. Wrestling, a lot of drugs, rock and roll after drugs. Yeah, there was the whole Ring Boy scandal, for those that don't know, going back with Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon was always fruity. I mean, for the people who didn't watch pro wrestling, Vince McMahon was always sketchy. And again, those who believe in the Illuminati conspiracy theorists, he sold his soul for fame and fortune. I mean, WWE was, huge throughout the 80s and the 90s. Particularly at its peak in the late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, it was crazy, and also the Illuminati symbolism throughout pro wrestling was crazy, and yes, also a lot of drug use there. Who knows what they had to do? A lot of people dying young as well, and having mental breakdowns within pro wrestling. But let's watch this clip again. It's almost like he's possessed. It's very weird.
I love you, man. Bye. I got my MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
Is it just me, or the way that he said that? Was that a result of some kind of MK Ultra-ing? That didn't seem like a natural way to celebrate. It's almost like he was repeating something that he was brainwashed with. Let's listen, watch that again. Because, I mean, everybody's here seen people celebrate in sports or victories. It seems organic and natural. Like, pay attention to his intonation here.
I love you, man. Bye. I got my MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
So the way he said I'm a savage seemed perfectly organic to me. He's celebrating whatever. Whatever I want, I'm going to get. He almost said that robotically. It was very weird. Very weird. Again, pay attention to the intonation of how he said, whatever I want, I'm... Like, it's so weird. When he's just screaming, I'm a savage, there's no glitch there. That's whatever. People say that when they celebrate.
I love you, man. Bye. I got my MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage!
See how organically that flowed? I'm a savage. Yeah, that's all organic. Now pay attention to this.
Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
Whatever I want, I have to get. It's like staccatoed. The way he said that was staccatoed. Yes, I got my MTV ad. I'm a savage. No issue there. Whatever I want, I have to get. I'm going to get. It was staccatoed. As if from some kind of mind control programming where that was repeated many, many times. There was a definite difference there. Okay, so let's move on here. You guys really want to get to the Bieber, Taylor Swift stuff. Do you want to do that now, or do you want to get to Tupac? We have to get to Tupac. We still have to get to Tupac. Okay, since we just came off Justin Bieber, let's look at that. If I can find this clip, it's quite old. Let's see if I can get it up on the screen without YouTube getting weird. Alright, let me see here. Looking at this clip, I don't even know if I want to put it on the screen. It's just so sad looking at it now, because I think I saw this right around the time it aired. I don't know. A lot of people probably are going to say that there's too much reading into this, but I don't believe so. Do you guys want to go into this deep dive? We'll get to Tupac in a second, but okay. I guess most people do want to see it. Barbie asks about Beyonce being a witch. A lot of people are blowing the whistle on Beyonce as well. They're actually saying she's worse than P. Diddy with the amount of young girls she's sold out. We're not going to get into that on this podcast, but this reminded me of this clip with Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift. I'm going to put it on the screen in a second here. If YouTube allows me, again, there actually hasn't been too much funny business. This stream hasn't dropped as much as the Hollywood Illuminati humiliation ritual stream did. But let's see. I mean, this one's going to be kind of crazy. Now, we're looking for nuance here. So, it's not super out in the open, but it's definitely weird. So, we are going to the TV show Punk'd. And this clip's actually funny with Triple H, but we have to mind the time, so I'm just gonna fast forward to the part with Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift.
I like watching. Watching was fun.
Press it.
Where do I push?
Right here. Oh shit.
What just happened?
Hold on. What is that? That couldn't have been from that, though. We were just joking.
Like, it's kind of weird watching the way celebrities just interact in seemingly normal, everyday situations. And it's just really weird because looking at it in hindsight, I think Owen Benjamin did a clip of Leonardo DiCaprio when DiCaprio was really young, and he's like caressing and massaging some random producer's shirt. And it's just really bizarre. I had to stop watching that because it was really weird. But this QG in the chat says the government allows them to make money in traffic, but after they get their pleasure and get their cut of the money, then they take down the person. Like R. Kelly, P. Diddy, Epstein. I mean, there's a lot of guys they don't take down, though. It seems like the vast minority are ever taken down. Like 99% don't get taken down.
No, they're seriously for real fire.
Here.
That wasn't from us, though, was it?
I just feel like we're gonna die.
No, just stay right.
I feel like I'm gonna die.
Stay here.
Why does Taylor Swift feel like they're all gonna die? It's just weird, like watching these seemingly innocuous clips. Because this is an old episode of Punk'd with the mastermind Ashton Kutcher. Some people actually think he's one of the missing paper boys that went missing with Johnny Gosh. And he does kind of look like him, but we're not going to get into Ashton Kutcher for this one.
I don't think that's from us, though.
Hey, what was that?
What's going on?
What just happened? Well, we were shooting those fireworks, but they were just little.
I was right over here on my balcony. I was having a glass of Merlot, and I...
Alright, hold on. We missed the start of it.
You go, press it.
I don't want to.
Just do that one.
I like watching. Watching was fun.
Press it.
Where do I push?
Right here.
Oh, shit.
I mean, this is so bizarre to watch. Having seen this right around the time it first aired, and watching it now after all the rumors of how Bieber and Taylor Swift were passed around in the Hollywood elite circles, and watching them now, like, through the lens backwards is really creepy.
Hold on. What is that? That couldn't have been from that, though. We were just joking.
No, they're seriously for real fire.
Here.
That wasn't from us, though, was it?
I just feel like we're gonna die.
No, just stay right.
Why is she running around saying, I feel like we're gonna die? Like, it's kind of weird. It's almost like trauma-based mind control. There's like a switch that causes them to panic or have meltdowns. It's just really weird.
Stay here.
I don't think that's from us, though.
Hey, what was that?
What's going on?
What just happened?
Well, we were shooting those fireworks, but they were just little.
I was right over here on my balcony. I was having a glass of Merlot, and I look out, and that boat is literally on fire.
What's going on, you guys?
It's just weird and very sad to watch this. I mean, I don't know. It's just very, very weird going through old clips after having looked at a lot of this new information.
Listen, I see some people coming out of the boat. There are people coming out of the boat.
They're coming this way.
If anybody saw that interview with Taylor Swift from just a number of years back, where she's sitting cross-legged on the couch, she's in her 30s and she's like mentally stunted at like 14. It's very weird.
Oh no, this is a brand new dress! Are you okay?
Some of the Punk'd was staged. I don't think a lot of it was staged. Some of it seemed kind of genuine reactions.
No! Baby! What did you do?
I mean, the actors in it are pretty bad actors, but some of the celebrities they targeted, they seem to have realistic reactions.
What is going on?
It's kind of like the pranks on YouTube. You can kind of tell the difference between the ones that are staged and the ones that aren't staged.
Listen, it's okay. We're gonna get you dried off, okay? There's other people on the boat.
Are they good?
Are they safe? I don't know if they're safe. How would I know? I'm here at shore.
It's also kind of weird because it's almost like they don't know how to act outside of controlled situations that their handlers prepared them for.
Can somebody explain to me what's going on? What you?
Like, whenever there's a non-controlled situation, it just seems like, I don't know. It seems weird.
We were lighting off the fire.
I mean, everything from their posture to
But
everything.
it didn't go all the way. We saw them.
Hold on.
They went up.
Listen, can I talk to an adult, please? Do you live here?
They were at least friends, I guess. I don't know. I think Bieber invited her over for a new song or something.
Is there a person swimming in the water? So Austin?
Oh, that's my best man, Austin.
We need to call people. We need to call them.
It's just so weird. It's like they're, I don't know. It just seems, the whole thing seems very weird. It almost seems like there's just not a lot of stuff going on behind the eyes.
Everything's under control.
Are they on their way?
They're on their way. Everything is fine.
Do they know that there are people in the water? They have boats?
An hour for the boat.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I wonder who.
Hey, you just got punked. Taylor, you got punked.
You're the worst! You guys got...
Isn't it weird kind of watching this after reading all these conspiracy theories about what they allegedly went through? It just seems really weird. It seems very weird.
I'm sorry, but we had to do it. We had to do it.
I don't think she's that good of an actress.
Look at this. Look at this.
But anyway, I just remember that, and it was really weird just from all of their rumors. It just very, very bizarre. Okay, so let's get into Tupac, because I have a couple things here on Tupac. And Tupac is also a very... Tupac is a very controversial figure. Some people thought he was genuine. I don't know. His whole life story is bizarre. So he's this preppy kid that goes to this, big time arts high school, and then he just inserts himself into the ghetto. It's very weird. I don't know. Bieri Soy Toro says Tupac was a Fed. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But his connection to a lot of things cannot be simply written off. And obviously his death is one of the most controversial. So if he's really dead, obviously some people believe he's still alive. If you haven't checked out the Mindshock Tupac Shakur episode, check that out. We go into a lot of different theories. Illegal opinions in the chat saying here Tupac was a fraud and has been exposed years ago. I did not see that expose. I mean, there were definitely shady things with him for sure, including, his femininity was a little weird. His mom was a Black Panther, yes. Yeah, his femininity was very, very weird. If they let me put this on the screen... YouTube acting up again. It's just so weird how on certain podcasts apparently there's no issue, and on other podcasts there are. Okay. Let's see if it'll work. Actually, we didn't go through. There was another article here I had on independent.co.uk that actually summarized all of the allegations, because there's a couple different things here. Let's go through this first, and then we'll get to Tupac. So this was federal agents with U.S. Homeland Security. So even why would Homeland Security be raiding two of his houses, L.A. and Miami? That's kind of interesting. I don't know if Homeland Security is usually involved with this. So there's multiple civil lawsuits, including trafficking, abuse, and wow, okay, so Combs, formerly known as Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, and a host of other names, has undergone a myriad of reinventions since the start of his career, but has since entered a new and unwelcome era. Federal agents with U.S. Homeland Security. Does this mean there's some kind of international element here? Raided 2 of the because otherwise it would just be FBI. Raided 2 of the rapper's houses in LA, Miami, March 25th, as he faces a string of varying accusations. The entertainer has not been formally charged or accused by federal prosecutors of any crime. The new lawsuits come months after Combs' former partner Cassandra Ventura, Cassie, filed a lawsuit against him in November. She accused him of raping her in 2018, beating her, demanding she carry a firearm to make her uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous he is, and forcing her to unwanted sexual encounters with male sex workers. Miss Ventura's lawsuit against Combs was settled a day after she filed it for an undisclosed amount of money. Now, call me crazy, how often are lawsuits settled within 24 hours of filing? I mean, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, there seems to be an international component here, possibly Epstein related. Because this is Homeland. This is not FBI and local PD. So he founded his own. So the allegations in the lawsuits go as far back as the 90s when he founded his own record, Bad Boy Records, which is also an interesting name. Okay, so yeah, we went over the Cassie claims in the video. So she alleged that she was trafficked, raped, and beaten by Combs on many occasions over 10 years, starting not long after she met him at 19 years old when he was 37 in 2005. So, yeah, and then it was settled within a day of filing. And that's not the only one. Apparently there's a whole bunch of lawsuits that P. Diddy, the diddler, settled immediately after filing. So there's the New York Adult Survivors Act, which expired at midnight, November 23rd, 2023. It's interesting numerology there. There was a 1-year window to pursue civil litigation regardless of when abuse occurred, meaning incidents from decades were finally brought to light. There were more than 2,500 cases filed under the ASA. A lot of these were against Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, Axl Rose, and P. Diddy. So there's multiple lawsuits here, including from anonymous people. Obviously, there's the Rodney Jones lawsuit, which we went over. And then there's also Joy or Joey Dickerson Neal, alleging that Combs drugged her, sexually assaulted her, and secretly recorded the assault while she was a college student in 1991. She claimed that Combs pushed her to go to dinner with him, and then she agreed reluctantly on January 3rd, 91, which is when she alleges, it's January 3rd. Wait a second. January 3rd. So, did Cat Williams intentionally pick that day to drop P. Diddy's name? Interesting. Okay. She alleges she was drugged, resulting in her being in a physical state where she could not independently stand or walk, the BBC reported. The suit also claims he recorded the assault and showed it to other people. She later filed police reports in New York and New Jersey, spoke to prosecutors, but was told they were, quote, terrified that Combs would retaliate against them and that they would lose future business and music opportunities if they made a statement in support of her, end quote, NBC News reported, citing the lawsuit. So she said that prosecutors were terrified of Combs of retaliation. I mean, how far up the ladder was he way back in 1991? I mean, you got to be pretty far up the ladder for that. To have all the prosecutors be terrified of you? So he was born in 1969. I mean, we got some Illuminati symbolism here. He's born November 4th, 1969 in Harlem, raised in Mount Vernon. His mother was a model and teacher's assistant. His father, Melvin Earl Combs, served in the U.S. Air Force and was an associate of convicted New York drug dealer Frank Lucas. And he was also shot dead age. Does anybody want to guess the age that P. Diddy's father was shot dead, who was also in the Air Force? Now, a lot of these celebrities, it's kind of crazy how they have military associations. Like even Madonna, 33. Obviously, it's 33. Everybody knows the age he had to have been when he was shot dead. I mean, it's just, I didn't know that his father was in the Air Force. I wonder if he knew Aquino, the satanic Air Force guy going on talk shows, openly satanic. So Combs was raised Roman Catholic and served as an altar boy. So is it possible he was abused as an altar boy and that's where all of that mental damage comes from, and then he repeats the cycle? And if his father was Air Force, perhaps he was MK Ultra even earlier or selected for the MK Ultra program. Combs said he was given the nickname Puff as a child because he would huff and puff when he was angry. He was a business major at Howard University but left after his second year. In 2014, he returned to Howard University to receive an honorary doctorate in humanities and to deliver the university's 146th commencement address. Anybody find that weird? So 2014, this is post all the rumors and allegations. And he gets an honorary doctorate in humanities as if he's serving humanity. This is really weird. I mean, this is very weird. Ellen in the chat says his father ran heroin on Air America for the CIA during Vietnam. And you know who was one of the first people to blow the whistle on that? Steven Seagal. He blew the whistle on that in the 1989 masterpiece Above the Law. How that didn't sweep Academy Awards, I don't know either. Definitely the fix was in. Yeah, Kill the Bank says Obama won the Peace Prize while bombing millions of children, yes, and signing the death warrant of underage U.S. citizens without charge or trial. But that's not the subject of this podcast. So he became an intern at New York. So this is kind of weird. There's definitely some funny business regarding Puff Daddy's rise to fame, because he's nobody. He becomes an intern at Uptown Records in 1990, and inside a single year of being an intern, he becomes untouchable to the point where prosecutors in both New York and New Jersey refused to pursue charges against him. A prosecutor inside, prosecutors terrified of a 1-year intern? This guy dropped out of college, becomes an intern in 1990, and he's untouchable by prosecutors in 1 year? Does anybody find this strange? This is kind of strange. In his college days, Combs had a reputation for throwing parties, some of which attracted up to 1,000 participants. Usher, who lived with Combs for a year in New York City when he was 13 years old, told Howard Stern in 2016 that Combs' lifestyle was pretty wild during the time. In 1991, Combs promoted an AIDS fundraiser with Heavy D held at the City College of New York Gymnasium following a charity basketball game. The event was oversold and a stampede occurred in which 9 people died. So was that some kind of satanic sacrificial ritual? Because he seems untouchable. So within 1 year of being an intern, that's also kind of strange. Within 1 year, he's already promoting these fundraisers at colleges? Is that unusual for an intern in less than a year? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what interns do at record labels. But that's kind of weird. So he was fired from Uptown Records in 1993 and then established his own label, Bad Boy Records. And he brought Uptown signee Christopher Wallace, better known as the Notorious B.I.G., along with him for the newly established label. So this all is kind of strange, because how is he untouchable? How is an intern, a 1-year intern, untouchable by prosecutors? So college dropout becomes an intern, and within a year, he's committing assault and prosecutors are terrified of an intern. Wow. I mean, this is weird. Rudy World says he has a rank in his lodge. That could make sense. Lord Zed says because his dad worked for the government. Possible. Kelly S. says Clive Davis, his handler. Perhaps even more possible. So, wow. I mean, this is just really shocking stuff, as how he's untouchable right from the beginning of his career after dropping out of college. So, who knows what happened when he was an altar boy for the Catholic Church, and his military father possibly doing drug running for the CIA and possibly also involved in MKUltra. It seems like an unusual amount of celebrities have fathers in military programs. Seems kind of strange. Again, let's take any other profession. How many oil rig workers? How many random public school teachers have fathers in these high positions in the military or Air Force? This seems very unique to the entertainment industry, including all the breakdowns in the late 20s, early 30s, and the drug use. Seems kind of crazy. But back to the independent.co.uk article here. More women come forward. Since November, 3 more women have come forward with lawsuits that alleged they were SA'd by Combs. 2 of the women said they were teenagers at the time of the alleged assaults. Anonymous plaintiff in November, an anonymous plaintiff accused Combs and singer-songwriter Aaron Hole of raping her and a friend in 1990 or 91 after meeting at an MCA Records event in New York where the singers were very flirtatious and handsy and offered them drinks, Rolling Stone reported. So this is some kind of low-level intern who has all this power. It's crazy. The suit alleges that Combs and Hall invited the women to Hall's apartment for an after-party where the plaintiff was offered more drinks and was coerced into having sex with Combs and was shocked and traumatized afterwards before Hall barged into the room, pinned her down, and forced Jane Doe to have sex with him, according to Rolling Stone. After she spoke to her friend, the plaintiff allegedly found out she had also been forced to be with Combs and Hall in another room, according to the suit. A few days later, Combs allegedly visited the plaintiff and her friend at a home where they were staying, where he became irate and began assaulting and choking Jane Doe to the point that she passed out, the lawsuit alleges. Now there's an additional unnamed accuser, Jane Doe. In December, Combs was hit with another lawsuit, which claimed he had drugged and ganged RAPED, a 17-year-old girl, in 2003. The plaintiff, identified as Jane Doe, accused Combs of plying her with drugs and alcohol at his New York studio, and then RAPING her along with 2 associates. The suit accused Combs of a trafficking scheme in which Jane Doe was flown by private jet from her home in Michigan to New York. So if he's flying minors in private jets, perhaps that's why Homeland Security is involved. I mean, this is all very, very weird. I mean, the thing that kind of strikes at me, like, all throughout the 2000s, okay, he's a billionaire, perhaps he's untouchable, and he can pay off all these prosecutors. But what's kind of strange is that a college dropout first-year intern is supposedly untouchable. That's kind of strange. That seems kind of strange to me. All right, so let's get to what I think a lot of people are here for, which is Tupac Shakur. So this is going to be very, very weird. And after we go through this information, I will go through a theory that possibly checks all the boxes.
We went to eat. We was eating. Man, they came to they just beat up, man. It's at a hotel. Yeah, the rest of the MG and the restaurant. It was a few New Yorkers, though. Witnesses. Like, man, y'all be smooth. We got this. That's what they said.
You guys aren't out in Vegas then with that intention. That's not why you're in Vegas.
We've been doing the fights since that day, you know, the 80s.
See, I'm geared up to go to Vegas. You know, I'm going anyway. Not even knowing who else is going down. Not knowing this shit. Positive.
Illegal Opinion says this is a scripted documentary. Be careful. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's sketchy, but I'm going to go over a theory that involves all of this and possibly connects all the dots afterwards.
So he told me in the lobby that there's some Jimmy. Somewhere in the Benz. He had a little secret compartment. Thing popped up. Popped up.
In the armrest?
Yeah.
Backing up Keefe's story, we had a cooperating witness who was present at the MGM that night after Orlando Anderson was beat down. He testifies to the fact that he sees Orlando Anderson bleeding from the head.
Now, again, for those who who haven't seen the Mindshock Tupac Shakur episode, check that out. We go through a lot of this on that episode as well.
And he sees the group get together to start to plan the retaliation. In fact, he heard one of the guys say, "Fuck that shit. What Tupac think this is? We gangbang out here." The witness also confirms that he overheard Zip say, "We have artillery out here," meaning guns.
I mean, there's quite a bit of cross-referencing for this documentary as well. It's not like they pulled a lot of this stuff out of the air.
Night with Tupac Shakur.
Kill the Bank. Are you talking about showing that MJ was innocent? Which MJ are you referring to? Are you referring to Michael Jackson? What we went over in the Illuminati Humiliation Ritual podcast as well is that even if they're guilty, if they were MK Ultra, it's like they were brainwashed and programmed to do things against their will. And I think that's a critical component of a lot of this stuff. Not saying theory. I think we went over this on the Tupac podcast, where this was kind of a setup, and it really was Dre, and then they
present during the shooting of Tupac Shakur, who said that Knight stated he knew who the shooters were and that they were Southside Crips.
Yeah, I thought he was dead. Yeah. So Tupac's trying to jump to the past. That shit was nothing. No, he couldn't really talk because he was too big. Yeah.
KPD has now identified his own nephew as the murderer of Tupac Shakur.
Bolstering KPD's claim.
Yeah, Illegal Opinion said cross-reference all of their documentaries like Industry Hoax did, and you'll see tons of changing stories and impossibilities. Yeah, there's a lot of weirdness, no doubt. There is no doubt there's a lot of weirdness. There's also the weirdness in that supposedly Tupac was expected to survive in the hospital, and then there were certain visits, and then after that, all of a sudden, he was dead. Like, the early reports supposedly is that his injuries were not life-threatening. But I don't know. Who knows?
Claim was an informant in 1997 who told investigators that Puffy had hired the Southside Crips to kill both Suge and Tupac, and that the Crip who was jumped at the MGM was in the group that had done the hit, and that they originally were going to do it at Suge's Vegas nightclub, but then decided to do it right away instead of waiting. This was exactly the same story.
So let's look at one more clip here, and then I'll get into the theory that possibly covers all the bases. Because this seems like an outlier situation. A lot of people want, they want to kind of force a super simple explanation here, but this doesn't seem to be a simple type situation. Otherwise, it might have already had that simple explanation.
Pac was real. Smart. So before he say something, he'll go and do his homework. He'll say, okay, this guy right here, they say he gay, he go both ways. I'm not gonna put it out there on him yet, but I'm gonna do my research, and if it's true, the world should know. Because this guy might be around one of those little kids one day and mess around with him, and so I'm gonna do it too.
So, I don't know what the allegation here is, that Tupac was gonna blow the whistle on P. Diddy. Is that the implication that this video here is suggesting?
So rumors are going around that Tupac was
real smart. So before he say something, he'll go and do his homework. He'll say, okay, this guy right here, they say he gay, he go both ways. I'm not gonna put it out there on him yet, but I'm gonna do my research, and if it's true, the world should know. Because this guy might be around one of those little kids one day and mess around with him, and so I'm gonna do it too.
So rumors are going around that Tupac was planning to expose Diddy for being on the DL and getting inappropriate with his young proteges after a video of Suge Knight resurfaced where Suge claimed that Pac was worried a certain producer could harm kids. Now, this isn't the first time we're hearing about these types of allegations about Diddy, and the internet previously called him out over his questionable behavior around Usher and Justin Bieber when they were just teenagers. But did Pac suspect that Diddy was allegedly doing something inappropriate with boys and young men? And is this the reason Pac and Diddy fell out?
Anybody think it's kind of weird? Is that pizza that he has in his hand there? I don't know. A lot of this stuff is very, very weird.
Let's break it down.
And you got a boyfriend that works for you? A real boyfriend who used to be a dancer? So I'm gonna do it too. Actually, save him from a little child. That's why Pac attacked certain rappers and said they gay.
Diddy is still trending following the arrest of his former associate, Keefe D, for his involvement in the murder of Tupac Shakur, and social media is buzzing with conspiracy theories about Diddy's connection to the case. And the latest theory to gain traction online claims that Tupac knew something about Diddy's alleged inappropriate behavior around young male artists. As you probably know, disturbing rumors recently started spreading online, claiming that Diddy allegedly did some questionable things to his young music proteges, Usher and Justin Bieber. And now an interview with Tupac's label boss, Suge Knight, resurfaced, in which Suge seemingly hinted that Pac wanted to expose Diddy's inappropriate behavior. These stories about Diddy have been circulating for a long time, and Jaguar Wright recently claimed that a former bad boy lawyer told her she once walked in on Diddy and R&B singer Christopher Williams.
She witnessed something. She witnessed something that was disturbing to her. But what was really disturbing to her was the conversation that she had with Diddy after. See, Christopher Williams, I don't know, I guess he wanted to sign. I don't know what happened. But
what's weird is, like, is this a where there's smoke, there's fire situation? Like, how much can someone puff? And I mean, especially a guy like Puff Daddy. I mean, there's got to be a lot of smoke. And where there's smoke, maybe there's fire.
Puff was supposed to be giving him a demo deal, and he gave him a demo deal, and I guess it was supposed to turn into an album deal, which that never happened. But this young woman walked in to get approval on some paperwork. See. And when she walked in, the door wasn't locked, so she didn't think twice about just walking in. And when she walked in, she saw Christopher Williams performing fellatio on Puff.
Jaguar also hinted that this is all about power and control, and Diddy allegedly enjoys making straight men do whatever he asks them to.
He said, I'll do whatever I want to do in my building. And I just don't know. He was like, it's power, see. I can make a man, he said, if I can make a man suck my, I can make people do anything for money. That's what you said, Puff, about Christopher Williams sucking it for a demo deal, and you cut him a check.
Jaguar also mentioned that viral interview with Kevin Hart, Diddy, and Usher, and she pointed out that a lot of people missed one important detail in this interview.
You was in a hotel room, and you had a dildo in the bed, and everybody was trying to skip past that part, and you just had a dildo in the bed. What was you using it for? Who was you using it on? Was you using it on yourself? Did somebody else use it on you? Why are you doing videos in hotel rooms with dildos and men? Only men present. Because you're a sodomite, that's why. Like, I don't know.
Wow, she's dropping the sodomite term. We actually went over that in the, going over the Freemasonry humiliation rituals in the other podcast.
If every man that's had a sexual dealing with you, if it's been consensual.
Now, in this interview that Jaguar's talking about, Diddy made some very problematic comments about Usher, claiming that he and Usher used to wake up together and wrestle when Usher was 10. And keep in mind that Diddy is almost a decade older than Usher.
When we used to wake up and, damn, pause, but like just I mean, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the frosted flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the frosted flakes because he used to always get them early with me. And now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And I'm
By the way, it's no secret that Usher used to
Alright, we went over the Usher stuff already, so let's go over here this new theory. So, this is a theory I found on Did this just disappear? Did this just get wiped from the internet in real time? That would be strange. That would definitely be strange. Okay, here it is. So, 6 months ago, on the Tupac subreddit, on Reddit, Specialist Course posted this in regards to a question about Diddy's alleged involvement. So this is half a year ago. So this is not related to the recent raids. And the response here, the theory laid out here by Specialist Course. So it's kind of a long story allegation with lots of layered issues. Here's the short version. Tupac and Biggie were actually friends prior to the East Coast, West Coast beef. As you may or may not know, Tupac was shot prior to his death in '96. In 94, he was headed inside a studio in New York where Biggie was, and he didn't even make it up before he was shot at multiple times. He obviously survived, but this event is what became the catalyst to the Bad Boy vs. Death Row issue. And those are interesting names as well for those that believe nothing is coincidental. Tupac vehemently believed that Biggie either set him up or had prior knowledge that Tupac was going to be set up, and ultimately blamed Biggie for not warning him. From that point on, Tupac wanted nothing to do with Biggie, Puffy, or Bad Boy. At the same time, Tupac was also battling an abuse charge that ultimately resulted in his incarceration. Tupac goes to prison, but Suge helps to bail him out and immediately signs him to death row. Suge and Puffy also had unresolved drama due to Suge believing Puffy had his best friend's security guard killed in Atlanta. So Tupac is out of jail and freshly signed to death row. He comes out swinging with hits, he's as popular as ever, and he's got Suge Knight on his side. They're both coming hard as hell at Puffy, Bad Boy, and Biggie, dissing them at award shows, putting out arguably the greatest and most offensive diss track of all time, Hit 'Em Up. Culturally, it's an extremely tense time. Allegedly, Puffy puts out a reward to anyone who can snatch a death row chain so he can use it in a Bad Boy video. Someone, a Southside Compton Crip, actually does this and takes a chain of a death row affiliate Blood gang member in LA. Puffy also allegedly puts a hit on both Suge and Tupac's life for $1 million. Fast forward to September 7th, 96, it's fight night in Vegas, Tyson vs. Selden. Death Row is in town for the fight. As they leave the fight, someone from the Death Row Bloods crew sees the person, the Southside Compton Crip, that snatched their Death Row chain. They tell Tupac, and he runs over to jump on the guy. They stomp him out in the casino. The guy recovers with non-severe injuries and tells his Southside Crip friends these friends were also the friends allegedly recruited by Puffy, who had placed a $1 million bounty on Pac and Suge's heads. Well, as we all know, Tupac was murdered by Southside Crips who were not only acting in retaliation, but had the perfect reason to collect the bounty. Two birds, one stone. I don't have to tell you that murder for hire is a felony. If this allegation is true, his involvement in it makes him guilty for the charge. Okay, so who believes this theory that... Okay, hold on. We got Ellen in the chat here with some interesting comments. A legal opinion is claiming that the Bad Boy and Death Row beef was all fake. QG in the chat says, it seems like he was the, like Puff, are you saying P. Diddy was the Hollywood pass around first, and then he took his anger out on these poor kids? Bieri Soitoro, is Snoop's murder case connected to all this? Very possible. There's a theory that Snoop was involved in the whole Tupac situation. So I'm going to put up a poll here. Who believes that, and even if the beef was manufactured, that doesn't mean that all the people on the bottom knew it was manufactured. So let's say Puffy or even people above him manufactured it. That doesn't mean that, you know, all the people on the bottom knew that it was manufactured. So who thinks that it's possible that this theory is true, that ZBO Pecolo says, I heard his mother ran a whorehouse, so possibly he was sexually abused by one of the ladies there or male clients. Who are you talking about here? Tupac? So who believes this theory that P. Diddy, if he put out this hit and it also happens to be the same... So the guy that Tupac stomped out, Orlando Anderson or one of his associates, these Southside Crips got stomped out by Tupac and his crew, and this was the same crew that was also hired by P. Diddy. Is this coincidence possible? I mean, they ran in these circles, so I wouldn't immediately dismiss it. So far in the chat, 53% say yes, it's possible that this was a simultaneous retaliation while also collecting a bounty. %. I'll leave it for another minute as we're going to go over some more details here. Millard added to this theory, just to add a few more details to this, at the 95 Source Awards, Suge Knight goes on stage and calls out Puffy, saying that any artist who wants to make music and not have their executive producer be in the videos dancing and singing, they should sign to Death Row. Puffy used to put himself doing ad-libs on a lot of the songs, appearing in the videos, dancing, etc. In December 95, at a Death Row Christmas party, a promoter for Bad Boy Records named Mark Anthony Bell was taken captive and assaulted by Suge Knight and Pac, who were demanding he give them the addresses of Puff Daddy's family in LA. So things were getting very real. Just as a side note, in a song named Muscle Game, released sometime after Pac's death, Puffy says something to the effect of, if you mess around with me, I drop $1 million hit on you. This is what he has been alleged to have done to Tupac. Interesting. Sean Blaze has an interesting comment here. Puff grew up in the Hamptons, but it's worth noting that he had serious clout and respect from New York's underbelly of urban organized crime. He inherited this clout, expanded and leveraged it as needed, but he didn't get his hands dirty. Why, you may ask? His father, Melvin Earl Combs, was a highly respected associate of both Frank Lucas and his rival Nicky Barnes. He was slain at 33 when Puff was only 3. Combs was mistaken for an informant, and as a result, Janice Combs, Diddy's mother, had all her needs taken care of, including anything Diddy and his sister needed. Lucas actually wanted Dita and Keisha Combs off the streets and in college and a clean life, but they were protected due to their father's legacy. So it seems, so it's kind of unknown. So this commenter is saying that P. Diddy was untouchable from prosecutors because of the organized crime connection, not because of the Air Force government military connection. But who knows? Maybe it's both. So I'm going to stop the poll here. 52% of the chat thinks that it's possible that Tupac's hit was a two birds, one stone situation. Coincidentally, the same group that got stomped out and wanted retaliation, they also happened to have been hired on the $1 million hit. 13% said no, the rest dunno. 13%. Tupac was also in the movie Juice, right? That was actually, I think, the biggest one. Poetic Justice, I don't even remember. Juice, I think, was 92. That was actually a pretty acclaimed film. Oh yeah, Gridlocked. Gridlocked as well. I forgot about that one. Yeah, but Juice was Omar Epps. That was one of his biggest movies. So I'm going to read one more follow-up here. There was one more thing here connecting a few dots. They seem to be really cleansing Reddit of past posts. Is it convenient, though, that Keefe D, Orlando Anderson's uncle, confessed as if he's protecting other people? It is kind of weird. I mean, I wouldn't trust a lot of this stuff, obviously. So here's this is the last post I'm going to read from Bort Corp here that brought up some interesting things. So apparently, Tupac supposedly beat up Orlando Anderson, Keefe D's nephew. Why did Pac jump Orlando Anderson? They were not randoms. Keefe D and Orlando Anderson did security for Puffy while on the West Coast. Puffy used them as protection against Suge Knight. Tupac knew this. Orlando Anderson also jumped Trevon Lane, a Suge Knight associate, 2 weeks prior. Tupac also knew this. Tupac that night jumped one of Puffy's street security that was causing them problems. They are not strangers to each other. Why did Orlando Anderson jump Trevon Lane a few weeks prior? He wanted to steal his death row chain and flaunt it. The understanding with everyone on death row after it happened was Puffy wanted to use the chain in a music video to disrespect Suge. In Keefe's defense, he says that was not the motivation, but that the altercation and chain snatching did happen. Also, this isn't speculation. Keefe D confessed this in 2008 when he was facing life in prison. The deal was to confess to every major crime he ever committed, and if anything is proven to be false, he gets life. None of this was supposed to be made public. But during lockdown, the idiot started talking. That's what led to arrest. What he told the FBI, the DEA, and the LAPD was between them, and they would not prosecute him for it. He thought that that meant he had blanket immunity. He did not. What he says to others can be used against him. And now, since Keefe D violated his own agreement, his original confession with Puffy's involvement will be used in the trial in November. Wow. That's a curious detail. That is definitely a curious detail. This is also something other members of the same task force were furious about. They gave him immunity due to another case, and they had to pretend they didn't know who killed Tupac when they did. Other investigators are furious with Greg Kading because of this. So apparently they all knew each other and had previous altercations. So this includes Orlando Anderson, Keefe D, Tupac, Suge Knight. They all knew each other, and this is not a random fight. They had multiple altercations. So the other big question, of course, is Suge. If he already knows all of this, some people think that he's simply not a snitch. So this poster's response here, it wasn't like nothing happened. Suge started a gang war between the two crews over that night. Around 20 people died. If he ever snitched on them, that will open him up to being responsible for the retaliations and what happened after Poochie. So they were Puffy's street security and had crossed paths multiple times. Tupac thought he was attacking one of Puffy's guys, which is true because he was. So apparently this is reopened and there's going to be a trial in November. Interesting. What does everybody think of all this? Final thoughts here. Is everything going to be completely unraveled here in 2024? QG has an interesting post here. I think the main takeaway is Hollywood lied to everyone. It was always full of thugs, mobsters, and criminals and shady characters. Then they tried to make us all feel bad for not having their wealth. States of the United said, think J-Lo knows anything? She probably knows a lot. She probably knows quite a lot. The court of public opinion mentioning a lot of really bad bands that made it big. Now we know why they made it big. That's a good point. Joyce B says 2024 seems to be revealing more and more truth bombs, and this is just the beginning. I mean, the year just started. It hasn't even been that long. It's kind of crazy. Actually, Ellen with an interesting comment here. They always hide stuff. That's what the raid was. They were worried about all the evidence getting out after the civil suits got real. Yeah, that's an interesting point, because if government officials are all implicated here, like the Epstein situation, are they simply seizing all of the evidence that implicates them? And that's pretty dark. Very, very dark indeed. So, yeah, that'll be it for tonight. Hopefully everybody enjoyed and found this deep dive informative, even though it's very, very haunting, this expose on P. Diddy and the industry. I mean, very, very dark stuff. Very, very dark stuff. And again, it's like a lot of this stuff has been an open secret for a really long time. Plenty more to come. Again, if this does get taken down, I will try to bring it back as well as the other ones. And yeah, I mean, definitely some haunting, dark stuff, but awareness is key. And there seem to be a lot of revelations coming in these times, however troubled. I mean, it's a weird thing comparing today to, let's say, the late 90s, early 2000s, where a lot of people didn't know about this stuff. It's so weird. Like, again, looking back and watching some of the stuff that kind of seemed innocent, that really wasn't. But that's it for tonight, folks. If you want to help support the Mindshock podcast, want to help logic and reason return to a world where it's quickly going extinct, you can donate to our PayPal. Check the link in the description. You can also become a YouTube member right here on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, Patreon. This is Bruce McGuire signing off. Catch you guys next time.